Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. We are covering the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's been missing from his home since February 26, 2024. According to everything that we have learned about this case, Sebastian Rogers was last seen on February 25, 2024, while dining with his mother at a local steak restaurant known as the Texas Roadhouse. Allegedly, he left the Texas Roadhouse about 6:22 to 6:25 in the evening, and they proceeded their way home. We do have audio information confirming that Sebastian did in fact arrive to his house on Stafford Court the evening of Sunday, February 25th. Around 6 a.m. on February 26th, his mother allegedly awoke, went to go wake up her son, and found his bed empty. After looking around the home for several minutes, she ended up calling her husband, which was allegedly 3.5 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee, at what is dubbed the St. Jude's Project. Since then, the roads were filled up with a lot of law enforcement. A huge and massive search effort went underway to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They ended up within 24 hours releasing an Amber Alert. We're learning a lot about these Amber Alert system and the strict criteria needed to get a person on the Amber Alert. So how is it Sebastian got on this Amber Alert without evidence of an abduction 24 hours after he was reported missing? These are a lot of questions that we have no answers to as we're working this case. What I can tell you is their statements have changed wildly. Here are a few examples of the wild changes.
He is asked, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
He's good
Right.
at it, but he doesn't
I understand.
Time and money.
It seems awfully funny that, he just can't seem to take care of himself. He doesn't really know much. But when we hear his father talk about him, Seth Rogers, he describes his son more capable than we've ever heard. He says his son is so capable, he goes fishing, he can shoot a gun. There's a lot of stuff that Sebastian does that, from the information we had from the mom and stepfather, we wouldn't believe. And just recently, after the 1-year milestone of this young man being missing, the mom and stepdad come out and say there was a misunderstanding about their son and his capabilities. That's kind of odd. Let's listen to that.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, he does struggle sometimes with expressing himself is, I guess, the best way that I could put that. But he's so smart and he's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent.
Yes, very much misleading to an extent. They're the ones that were feeding the public the information about their son. So why were they being so dubious in explaining the capabilities he had early on? They treated him, or put him into the minds of the people looking for him, that he had an infant's mind. And that is completely untrue. We're going to be diving into this and more today on the Bullhorn Betty channel.
I struggle to put words to how it feels, honestly. The amount of ups and downs, the amount of possible leads that haven't panned out. I miss him so much.
So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking.
Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request just to anyone that's willing. Don't Don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story, not to supersede other children, because they all deserve just as much, if not more, attention, because all children do. But I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost, because we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna let that happen if we can help it.
And I hope you stick around to learn a little more about these mysterious statements from the mom and stepdad and the recanting thereof. God bless. Buttons here. I got me this button here. I got me. We probably gonna wear this one out.
The lie detector test determined you are a liar.
Oh, and don't worry. I didn't forget the most important blah.
That was bullshit.
So now that we realize we got the buttons, mouse needs new batteries, right? It's kind of clicky and clanky, so I know it needs new batteries. These babies here, they got the super batteries in them, okay? They will not run out today. If you hear me complaining about my mouse going out, I knew it was on its last leg, okay? But it's not going into the mouse trap just yet. It just needs to be reloaded. That's all. It is nice to see you guys today. Today is our extremely long day today. So we're going to get inspired before we get gunked up. And as you guys know, we are going to go back to the beginning. And if you guys recognize this is the original. This right here is the original. We're going back in time to the day we all learned of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, his disappearance, and all the bullshit associated with it. Better yet, now I did miss some things. I was even inking this. I typed out. See all this? And then I realized I forgot, words over here. Got to add that in there. And we did the double-sided paper, so we're not wasteful. So we got it. We've got I went through here. We got a timeline. I'm going to have to ad-lib a little bit of the timeline in here. But that's okay. We're going to stay structured. We're going to stay on point. And then at the end of this, we're probably going to chat a little bit. We're going to be, if you guys want to open up the phone lines, we'll chat about that after we get here. So it's been a really long time since we had a long live. We used to be on here literally for 1 hour, or, for one live for 8 hours a day back when I first started. The show construction has changed quite a bit over the years. Just to find flexibility so we could cover other cases besides just one at a time. That flexibility has us being able right now to cover, I think we're on 3 cases right now. We're on multi-case watch, but we have some other cases. We know Brian Koberger is going to be going to trial. I haven't figured what we're going to do with that yet. We still got, possibility of Alec Murdaugh being retried. There's no ifs, ands, or buts whether Bullhorn Betty or the Bullhorn Betty channel will be in South Carolina. I mean, I can sneeze and blow and spit up gas money, for South Carolina. So no matter whatever happens with Alec Murdaugh, we'll have a front row seat. So I'm not worried about that. Now, one part of, sorry guys, before we get into Sebastian, we're going to take care of some housekeeping items. We do have the Crystal Rogers case. Now, Steve Lawson has already went to court. He was kind of the least of the two, in my opinion, the least of the three culpable of Crystal Rogers. He's involved. He was literally, in my opinion, 2 steps away from being involved. He should have been 2 steps away from being involved, but because of some of the things that I can see didn't make sense in his story, it basically showed him having more involvement than he initially alleged, and that's what got him in the slammer. He should have just, when he had an opportunity at full transactional immunity, you vomit the truth. Don't hold anything back. It's your one bite at the apple, and trust me, if they have any possibility of yanking that back away from you, they will. So you get that opportunity, you throw it all up. I'm telling you, that is Bullhorn Betty's advice to you. I do not lead you guys astray. Okay, full transaction immunity. You better tell them everything. You jaywalk, you kicked a kitten. You tell them. That is your one bite at the apple. They catch you lying. They're chomping at the bit to rip that away from you and prosecute you. Trust me. You want to be as open and forthcoming as possible, because that is the only thing that bit Steve Lawson in the butt. He had full transactional immunity. If he would have just spit all the truth out instead of them giving him a hell of a deal and him still withholding, was just stupid. The stupidest thing I think could ever. And now look at him. He's going to jail. Freedom versus jail. Stupid. Just stupid. So anyways, his son, as well as Brooks, are going to be tried separately, and that's coming up very quickly. I don't know when that's starting, but I know it's going to be starting very quickly. I'm monitoring the situation. Actually, we'll look at that here after my intro, and we may go out to that. But I know in probably within the next week, we may be actually covering a case that we went out and assisted with. So we had a young lady. Is it Miranda? Give me just a second. Let me go to my files. Cases. Let me show all my cases. I've got it here. I thought I still had her on this one. I can't remember. It's one of the cases that I covered. I went out there. We assisted in the protest. Anyways, her case is, the guy actually pled guilty to the hit and run. So we're going to be going out there with her dad, potentially. I'm not sure if I'm committed to it yet, to go to the court hearing to watch them sentence him. I would think it'd be a very proudful moment, but I have budgetary restrictions, and this was kind of thrown on me at the last minute. When I was talking to Chronicles of Olivia, she will be there. So I've just got to make the decision whether I'm going to be there or not. And I'll keep you guys up to date on that. But I think that will be pretty interesting, and that will be from the scene. We won't be covering that from here. All right, guys. So the way the structure of today is going to work, we're just going to go through the case details, and then we're probably going to have some chit chat, look at some things. Probably around the 2-hour mark, I'm going to take a break, probably about a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back for another hour. We'll take another 10-minute break, and then we'll finish up the show. And what we're trying to accomplish is going through the details of the case. And then at the end, or closer to the end before I close out, we're going to be talking about our event that we are going to start planning in Tennessee. Now, there's no date set. This is what the whole committee is going to be about. This is going to take a committee. It's going to be a large event. This is something that I know how to do, and I know how involved it is, and I know that I don't have the time to do it by myself. So I'm going to need some ideas. We need to figure out, we know where the general area is. I still need to find, we need to get a list of politicians that might be child advocacy friendly. Some other crime advocates in the state of Tennessee. I'm looking for maybe some nonprofits and resources that can talk about the resources that they have to help families. These are kind of different topics that I want to convey, because the strategy is to show this great need of new laws directly related to safeguarding our children, and creating a situation where the bad guy is punished more, okay, for their crime. We're having a larger population. That means by just the sheer numbers, our we're kind of on a lottery system, right? We don't know if the robber's going to get us or just another person. It's literally the law of large numbers and the opportunity available for the bad guy. Who's there at the right time, right? So we need to find a way to kind of close those gaps. And the only way we can close those gaps is by deterrent. And how do we close those gaps? By deterrent. Laws, stricter laws, tougher laws. For me to sit here and read a law in 2025 with everything that we know about, these pedos, right? We know so much. We know that there is something seriously wired in them wrong, that no matter how much therapy we throw at them, they just don't change that obsession. Okay? There have been certain things that have been effective in curbing that. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's related to chemicals, and it ends in a station. Okay? So that has been beneficial from what I hear in deterring the compulsive nature and obsessive nature of whatever is going on with people that want to do that to children. But to sit there and read a law that made it a misdemeanor, that they just changed it to a Class E felony, which is the lowest degree felony imaginable. Still, again, they need a lot of work. They ain't getting it upstairs. But again, I wanted to make sure I had a video of all the kudos to them, because those did show that they are making steps. You can't go, unfortunately, in politics, you can't go from here to where you need to be with one law, okay? When it comes to laws in politics, what we do, how we get there, is we pass this law. Then we take this law and we build on it. And then later down the road, we pass on it. It's stepping, okay? And they're stepping in the right direction, but they're not there yet, okay? I think that they could have pushed for a Class D felony. And if the politicians have a problem with that, right, then it makes you wonder why politicians have a problem with tough penalties on child diddling. Because I'm telling you, whatever culture that's going on there in Tennessee, that seems not to get that, it should be, especially under the age of 12, a capital crime, not a felony, not just a low-level felony. But I digress. I don't want to get off topic too much with my kind of borderline, I like the stuff, but it's just not enough mentality. But just seeing that they had to take that and move that from a misdemeanor to a low-level felony, it's just, I feel like, some people aren't getting it. But again, if politicians have a problem with tough penalties on people that want to play house with your child, it makes you wonder, why is it such a problem for Tennessee to pass reasonable laws to protect people from doing that, or protect children from people doing that? And if anybody's fighting him on it, I would really question the why factor, and start checking their connection to, like, maybe Epstein's, Fun Island or something. I don't know. Seriously. Like, I have a problem with politicians that can't get on board with protecting children. It always comes with a why. Why? Because I can tell you, when it comes to children in our county, we got so many bleeding hearts. All you have to do is say it's for the kids, and we will tax ourselves slap out of retirement. These people, like, reasonability, yes, but no. All right, guys. Before I get into my intro, let's go ahead and change gears and say good morning to everybody. Eeyore Blues, Groovy Gal, Melanie. It's nice to see you. Love Bog. Hello, hello. Why is my mouse? It never wants to work. I think my mouse is like seriously going out. I don't know what's wrong with my mouse. It's just not one. There we go. It's finally clicked up. Okay. ER Blues. It's nice to see you. Groovy Gal. Melanie Unicorn. Lisa Be Always. Me and you. Hey, 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 hey. The real Me Too is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Phil. Good morning. SBED teacher. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. Vermont girl. Hey, hey, hey. Trust the process. Good morning. Did I say hi to you, Rod? Good morning. Oh, he gave me a super sticker. Thank you so much, Love Bug. Jen in Georgia. Shattered. I'm sorry. Who else do we have? We got Kelsey up in the house. It's nice to see you, Kelsey. Mama for the missing children. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. Who else do we have? Little Orange Man, Kiki. It's nice to see you. Hey, hey, hey. SIO officer, good morning. It's nice to see you, love. Panda Bear's mom, good morning. Busy Mama, good morning. Shirley, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Hopefully I'm not scrolling too fast. Houston, Dawn, it's nice to see you. Carla, good morning. It's nice to see you, Rebel Princess. SRK, Peggy, Sadie, it's nice to see you. It's me being me. Good morning. Patty, Nana Niner, it's nice to see you. Kathleen, good morning. Sherry, good morning. Natalie, Denise, AEL, hello. It's nice to see you. Betty Finn up in the house. Well, good morning there, Love Bug. I hope you are doing well. Patty, it's nice to see you. Billy B, good morning. I see Narita up in the house. It's nice to see you. Valley Gal. Diane, good morning. Adrian, good morning. Nice to see you. West Virginia Holler Girl, good morning. Mag 50, hey, 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 hey. Michelle, it's nice to see you. Jamie, good morning. Stephanie, it's nice to see you. VA is up in the house. I see Mary. Good morning, Mary. I think Outer Banks is here. Making her grand entrance. I love it. I love it. Oh, good gracious. I do not support. Oh. Yeah, let's be nice. That's okay. Laura, it's nice to see you. Shauna, hey, 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 hey. Sabrina, did I see Sabrina? It's nice to see you. Okay, we're getting through this stuff. If I missed you, Susie, I see you. IML, it's nice to see you. Periwinkle, Canadian, it's nice to see you. Mike, good morning. Pete, oh, we got Pete up in the house. It's been a while. I think Pete, I think it's you, right? It's you that we got. I got her addicted to gummy lifesavers. It's either her or Rod. I think it's Pete, though. I think it's Pete. BMW Coupe, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Tracy, good morning. Lanny, it's nice to see you from Missouri. Leslie, hey, 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 hey. I feel like I missed somebody. Okay, got Laney. Okay. Whispering Winds, good morning. Passion Flower, hey, 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 hey. Outer Banks, Sharon. Mama Bear, see Mama Bear. Caroline. Kiki, thank you. Sent you an email, but it's under. Okay, all right, perfect. We might have some time to get over there. If I missed anybody this morning, I am so sorry. I try to remember, try to go through everybody, but sometimes by scrolling. D-Real, it's nice to see you. It's kind of, a little funky. So that's where we are right now. So we're going to go ahead and kind of just go over the overview of this case. I know I was pretty thorough in our intro video in here about why we're here, but just for those that are coming in or that is going to be seeing this case here in, in the future. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, he was 15 years old when he disappeared. He is now 16 years old. He's an autistic teenager that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee, and was reported missing on February 26. It is the position of this channel, me, that he disappeared on February 25th. I don't believe he was in the home. I believe he was removed from the home early morning hours on the 26th. But I truly believe whatever happened to him the evening before he was removed from the house. His mother was the last to see him, and her name's Cathy Proudfoot, and she saw him allegedly until, oh, thank you, Mike. God bless you. I appreciate that. She said that on the evening of February 25th, at their home on Stafford Court, when Cathy went to wake him up for the school the next morning, he was gone. Sebastian is described as a male, 5'5". Now, they keep saying he's 120 pounds. My understanding is this boy was not 120 pounds. He was between 110 and 115 pounds. And I want to put that out there because from what I hear is that his weight, he was a little underweight. And I think that that's important to notate. And especially with everything that we have going on now. He has dirty blonde hair and brown eyes, and he was wearing a black sweatshirt, long sleeve shirt, whatever. I don't know how that got mixed up, but I think that was one of their first lies that they told law enforcement. And I think they told the sweatshirt because somebody was observed in a black hoodie. And we know who was wearing a black hoodie that evening. Black sweatpants and black square-framed glasses. We need to remember those square-framed glasses because he could not see without them. And he's had no eye doctors, no medical appointments, no medication that law enforcement can find or his father can find. He has autism, which may affect his ability to return home safely, and believes to be without his medication. His flashlight keychain is allegedly unaccounted for. But all his shoes, which I still find pretty odd, especially with the detail about how his stuff gets thrown out by Christopher Proudfoot, his stepfather, when he doesn't clean his room the way Christopher Proudfoot, this man that has no business being a parent whatsoever, doesn't like. And he uses corporal punishment on a child that has autism and a chromosome deletion, like a real winner chicken dinner piece of you-know-what. So he's believed to be without his medication. The flashlight keychain is unaccounted for, but all his shoes, phones, and Nintendo Switch were left at home. Anything that could possibly track him was left at home. Why did they find any footprints? I went out. I've been doing stuff out in my yard, and it requires me, digging up weeds because the weeds have gotten so big that the base, even if you clip them with a weed eater, they'll come right back. So I've been pulling the weeds up completely. I'm sick and dealing with them, So I've been going out there along the fence and pulling out these big, massive weed beds. And I got to tell you, I don't know. You see impressions, whether I'm wearing flip-flops, whether I'm wearing shoes, whether I'm out there in my feet, whether my dog walked on that area. My little itty bitty 2-pound dog. Where's the footprints? We have no footprints. We have no footprints when it was damp. I don't know. All right, let's get back to this. Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, which is the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, FBI, which is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and other agencies across the state and county, or, across the state, launched a massive search. They covered 10,000 miles in this search with canine units, drones, helicopters, volunteers. An endangered child alert was issued on February 26th, but upgraded to an Amber Alert. And I believe they were able to upload it to an Amber Alert based upon, I am absolutely confident they had a video from the neighbors showing that car there. I think they knew what we ended up finding out long before we found it out. And I think that was because we've learned so much about these Amber Alerts. We've had two missing children cases that didn't rise to the level of getting an Amber Alert. One in Washington State, we're still on a manhunt trying to track that guy. We're still on a manhunt trying to track that guy. And they didn't issue an Amber Alert even though he abducted his own kids and wouldn't return them. So we know how incredibly hard it is to get on an Amber Alert, and Sebastian just got on it like that. Just like that. Huh. Because I can guarantee you, Whitney Decker wanted her kids on that Amber Alert. She didn't get that opportunity. So what gave them the opportunity to put Sebastian on an abduction list when it reasonably wasn't expected, at least by law enforcement, that he was abducted, either familiar or otherwise? Seems weird. On February 27th, despite extensive effort, no confirmed sightings, video evidence, or physical trace scent picked up by dogs have been found. So they have no trace, no scent, nothing. Katie Proudfoot has expressed belief that someone took her son, right? While his father, Seth Rogers, and his father, Seth Rogers, and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, have also been involved in public discussions. So Katie believes that her child could have been abducted. The first time we heard her make this revelation was on the Nancy Grace show, and we will be hearing that here shortly. Not right at the moment. I didn't pull it up just yet. I don't want to bog the system down too much, so we'll pull them up as needed. But we will get to that, where she says she believes her son was abducted. Okay. The case has drawn significant attention, leading to online speculation, harassment of the family, and a $50,000 FBI reward offered on August 26th, 2024. We were there. We were the first to release that information live on a news broadcast. That was good. And then, of course, in September, we know that At Night stepped in with the assistance of Dog the Bounty Hunter. Dog the Bounty Hunter stepped up with the assistance of At Night one way. I know I got it corrected one way or not. I don't know how that works, but they stepped up and started matching the FBI reward. Now they have raised the stakes so much to find information about Sebastian Rogers that I believe the total is almost $500,000, if not $500,000, for any information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts and the successful prosecution of those responsible. At this point, it being almost 2 years since this young man has left his home or has been taken, hurt in his home, and removed from his home, taken from his home, or whatever the case may be, it is definitely, no matter how you look at it, he could not have done all of this on his own. So there is somebody out there that needs to be held accountable and needs to be brought to justice. In my opinion, I believe there's at least 4 of them. I think there is one main person and at least 3 co-conspirators. The investigation remains active as of today, with no evidence of foul play confirmed by law enforcement. No evidence of foul play. Everybody, let me tell you, whether there's foul play associated with this or not does not go into the integrity of this investigation. But I have no respect for Sheriff Snuggles Struggles. I have no respect for him. I have literally zero respect for the people, the stakeholders, and the decision makers in Sumner County. I think they need new leadership. I am happy to help do whatever I can to make sure that happens, including letting somebody in Tennessee that has the right qualifications to lead. I'm happy to give them me. And trust me, I am an animal. I walk and talk. I knock doors. I do phone calling. I do phone banking. I do training with other people to get a whole host of people coming. And I've been doing this kind of stuff literally for years. It is nothing off my tail to get in there and make things happen, especially politically. I do have a playbook. I've been using it for years. It's very effective. Very effective. And actually, we can do a lot of campaigning right from our states. You know, we don't have to be in the state of Florida or in the state of Tennessee to affect change. But anyways, getting back on here, the case is marked by limited public disclosure from law enforcement, community frustration, and conflicting narratives from the family members. I think the most obstructive and intrusive or unintrusive is Sumner County. We need people that actually have penises, balls, and backbone. Not little pussycats. Okay? I'm looking at a bunch of pussycats. We need people to get in there and get the job done. And if they don't have the grit to get the job done, it's time to pass it on. It's time to move it up. It's time to maybe hire a person. Oh, that's right. Keep forgetting Tennessee, doesn't have money to handle investigations. I mean, I've never heard of such insanity before. We don't have money in this county to do this investigation. I forgot that. That's the number one problem in Sumner County. They're broke. And it's a shame. It's a shame that this boy doesn't get justice because they mismanage their money. Hey, but you know what? They got a beautiful courthouse and a lot of them got nice new offices. But they don't have money to run a proper investigation for Sebastian Drake Rogers because they are broke. They are broke because they want to buy the stuff they want to buy because they know better than their people, right? They can't jack up their taxes too much because they'll all lose their job. They won't quit spending on unnecessary spending. And when they need the money for the stuff they need, now they got to go to the taxpayers, which they won't do because they have ran on a campaign of reducing taxes. Want me to keep going? I'll tell you all the tricks of the trades of these politicians. I will tell you every single trick of the trade. I know them. I've been in the gutter way too long not to. So now we have this situation, and at the end of the day, by the time they finally get funding to search for Sebastian Rogers, there's going to be another case on their desk that takes precedence. They're always now going to be behind. They're always now going to be behind. We're past the 1-year mark. They didn't have what it took. And Sheriff Struggles doesn't know his ass from his elbow. When he starts fighting and thinking it's cool to arrest YouTubers because we say how shitty of a sheriff he is, he's got a big problem. Well, you know what, Sheriff? It looks like your own blessed constituents agree with me because it was them that let me go while you mounted that bullshit, corrupt, kangaroo court shit that I've ever seen in my blessed life. Courtesy of Sumner County, every Sumner County resident should be embarrassed and fire a lot of them and get a sheriff that is willing to fire Lisa Byington that doesn't have a problem lying under oath on affidavits. I know, because I possess an affidavit that she authored and signed that's full of shit. How many high-profile cases did she also doctor affidavits in? I'd like to know. And we're not getting there. Let's get back to Sebastian Rogers. So, detailed timeline of events. The timeline includes events directly related to Sebastian's disappearance and other notable incidences. I also asked the system for other crimes in Sumner County to also be disclosed in here, giving it an example of the house exploding during search efforts. Because I want to see if there's anything criminal that happened in that county that we may not have focused on that might change things or the view. So hopefully it spit it out. So hopefully it spit it all out. But we know February 22nd, actually, you know what? Let's just take a few moments. Let me just go up here and see if we have any comments. I see that we have 5 little stars here, so I haven't even told these people thank you. So, Rod, thank you so much for the super chat. Kiki says, sent you an email, but it's under a different name. Let me just go over here and see if I can identify the email and maybe just take a look at it real quick. I don't want you giving me your other name here publicly. Okay, so I've identified you. Okay, let's see what it says here. I think that's that chick. I need to call her. I think it was Senator Gentry. I think that is it. And I have his wife's number, but every time I go to, I forget. I need to write it down. I'm writing it down and squaring it so I don't forget, because she's such a nice gal. And I know that she even put her, asked some people to reach out to me, and they sent me some stuff of like a podcast or something that she had made and identified that. But I think you're talking about, I think his name was Senator Gentry, unless she didn't take her husband's last name, which is possible. I didn't take my husband's last name. So I kept my birth name. Gotcha. Okay. So you just, okay. Got it. So I think that's who it is. Senator Gentry. I really do. I think it's Senator Gentry. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Somebody else can throw it into the chat. I'll be back on that side in just a second. And Mike, thank you so much for gifting or doing a super chat. I appreciate it. God bless you. I can't speak today. I don't know what it is. SRK, just memorializing and just giving respect and showing Sebastian's name. The name that his mother has a hard time, saying out of her name. And of course, our beautiful Melody, we need to give Melody like a surprise. Because no matter what, I think she likes the insane asylum. I really do. I think it makes her day. I really do. I think it's the button. I think it's the button. I really do. I think it's the button. It is Gentry, but it's a male. Yeah, it's her husband. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's Senator Gentry. So, anyways, Melody gifted Robin cracks me up too. We'll go with Melody first. Melody gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. I cannot speak today. Oh, I'm having problems. I'm having major problems. So grab your straight jacket in your padded room and welcome to the Insane Asylum. I can't speak, Robin. You got to let me get my composure before I do another one. You got to let me get my composure. Robin gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership from either Robin or Melanie, please don't forget to tell them thank you. And for the beautiful 2 recipients that received your gifted membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. Oh no. Good gracious. You never know when I'm going to spit out of my mouth. I just got to say. So we kind of have our nastiness, our bad taste in our mouth from the whole crap show we saw from law enforcement. They showed their unprofessionalism. They showed their ignorance. They showed their lack of leadership. I mean, this case here showed a lot to me about that county and the county's leadership, because people just don't try to get something to shut up and shovel down. This is a national interest case. Most people would capitalize on there, rise up to the cause, get an opportunity to get in front of a camera and talk and support law enforcement, if nothing more than for a PR stunt. And none of those politicians took that bite. That should show you where the guy, Bowersox, and Proudfoot are in that county. Because had it been anybody else, don't tell me those politicians wouldn't have taken that opportunity and grandstanded for no other point than to get some free publicity out of it. These people don't know what they're doing. They have no integrity. And they try to pick on people that say that and try to intimidate them. This timeline includes events directly related to his disappearance and incidences of crime. So let's just go through this. We know on February 22nd, and then we're going to start getting into some videos. We know on February 22nd, according to Seth, that was the last time he spoke to his father. And he was gearing up because, according to what Seth explained and why he spoke to him on Thursday as opposed to Friday, is because, you know, his mom has that weekend. And they kind of have like this gentleman's agreement, if you will, that when Sebastian's with his dad, he's not interrupted by his mom. And when Sebastian's mom has him, he's not interrupted by his dad. So they just kind of had this, you know, basic level of respect of each other's time and time with their son. So he made his last call for the weekend on Thursday because obviously Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is what we deem the weekend, even though it's really technically Saturday and Sunday. But you know, that's really our weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're usually in bed early on Sunday, which is a little ironic because in this household, they like to stay up to god awful hours before they go to bed when they have to get up for work the next day. It's a little crazy. Don't know how military that is, you know, it's for military parents that don't mind. So we got the February 22nd, and then we get over to February 25th. But we all gloss over Saturday, February 24th. And I think Saturday, February 24th is equally important, but also bizarrely concerning that we've never really tried to pry into what happened Saturday. Could something that happened Saturday have caused what happened Sunday? You know? We've never explored it. We have narrowly positioned ourselves in this case to only look at Sunday and Monday. We've never even tried to press for Friday or Saturday because nobody knows what happened to Sebastian after he got home on Friday. Nobody knows. Seth's last conversation with Sebastian was on Thursday. So what happened when he got off school Friday? No information. What about Saturday? We only have one tidbit of information to plug in, and that's Costco's. A wholesale, and that's another bizarre quirky situation in this whole story is, why would they be at Costco's on a Saturday, which is a whole food store, much like BJ's is, just to go over to BJ's the next day? Like, if they were going to BJ's, why didn't she just hold off on Costco's until after she left the new store of BJ's? And if they didn't have what she needed, then she could go over to Costco's and buy whatever. To go to two whole food stores, it's just her and her boy. Why is she going and buying all this food in bulk from BJ's and Costco's? It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. So either something happened Saturday that we're trying to be distracted from, or we can assume BJ's was spur of the moment and it was never planned. They had never intended to go to BJ's. And then boom, they're at BJ's. Why? Why did they need to go pick up the need? And it sounded quick too. It sounded like boom, boom, boom. Like, because even one of the parents didn't have their child with them. One of the aunts, where they had to go pick up the child and bring that child to the aunt. It just seems odd. It seems, why that event? Why was it so rush, rush, rush? And we never discussed that. But that's a detail that now we're here, we've never explored, might be time to explore. So we don't really have anything from Friday or Saturday other than the Costco's trip. And then on Sunday, we really don't have a lot on Sunday. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. So now we're getting in here to the next day. And the next day is really vague. Excuse me. Good gracious. This thing's going to drive me nuts. It's not working. Okay, sorry about that. I was having a little bit of allergies. So they went to BJ's, but that morning we learned, I think it was from Chronicles of Olivia's interview, we learned that that they went to BJ's. Well, they had a fun breakfast. Newsflash, or what did she say? Fun fact. I made him a fun breakfast. Like, she's all proud of herself. And he loved the breakfast so much he called family to brag. I think that's where we learned it on Chronicles of Olivia. But before we get started, before everything came to pass, before any of this was where we started. Right here. This was one of the very first news articles that we had seen. Google it, y'all. Yep. Yeah, oops. Yep. Hey, April, it's nice to see you, love. Google it, y'all. That's right. That's right. And so we get across this right here, and it says, "I just want my baby to be okay. Parents of missing teen with autism discusses the disappearance." So we're going to go through this because, let's be honest, this was the first one. This was the first one for the Bullhorn Betty channel, Spaghetti Pancakes. Yep. This is the one that I watched. This was the one that made me engage with this case. So this is where we're coming back to. Not anything before this or anything after it for right now. For this topic for this segment here, this little, I don't know, 5 minutes. This is the only one I'm going to be talking about because this is what drew me into the case. It was the video. So I'm going to play this because we have a much longer version of this, and then we're going to read the article below. I think it's very important to get our audience not just engaged in the videos that are attached, but also reading in the articles below, because what it helps you do is they give you a lot more information in the article below. Think of it as a movie, right? A book that turned into a movie. When you read the book, you get a lot more details than what they can put in the movie. It's the same scenario. They've got the video here to go with their news, whatever news broadcast they have. They only have a window, and they have to make the segment fit that window of time to the second. That's their job. And so afterwards, you have to read the article to get the stuff that they were unable to put into the segment. So here it is. I don't know if this should be the original one that's clipped all.
Summer of Loud, featuring Fairtooth.
I don't want that. Oh, good gracious. Skip that.
Tonight, the parents of a missing teen in Sumner County described exclusively how they feel on day 8 of their son's disappearance. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marius Pate.
And I'm Robin Lowry. Sebastian Rogers
Hold on.
is 15.
We got technical issues. And we've got sound on this, but no sound coming through. Let's go ahead and just refresh this. Let me take it out, and then I'll bring it back up. There we go. Give me just a second. Make sure I can get some sound out of it. This particular website has a lot of ads. Holy crap, there's no sound to this. I can't get sound to come out of it. So I can't even show you guys the clip. So we'll go over, but the point I'm trying to make is that this clip here was so condensed from the original one, but they did have her chuckle at the beginning of it, and it still infuriated me. Since I can't get this to work and I can't get you guys to hear it for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like the volume's gone. Look, the volume's all the way up. See, it's all purple. It's all the way up. And I go here and you can't hear anything.
Positive, they are holding on to hope that their son Sebastian will return home safely.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
This has always worked. Okay. So I'll find the actual clip. It's probably on YouTube. But until then, I've got the original. I did, and it's what I do. It's probably what I'm going to start doing from here on out. But here we got the entire one. It's a 22-minute interview. And this was released like a day or two later. And as soon as this you guys can hear it? You guys can hear it, and I can't hear it at all. Huh. And I've refreshed it twice. That's interesting. Oh, well, for the purposes that we need, here we go.
Into your home.
This is much better.
Obviously, everyone wants to hear what you have to say. And it's all about bringing Sebastian home and safely. So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
That was the very first thing. Oh, hey, Mr. Seth. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well, or as good as you can be. Channel gives you a big old hug. Yeah, we can hear this one, but the other one I couldn't hear at all. And if I can't hear it, I can't. If you guys can hear it and I can't hear it, it still defeats the purpose because I need to point out stuff. And if I can't point out stuff, I can't point out it. So I'll figure it out. We're not done talking about this case unless he comes home. We'll close the case. But until he comes home, we'll be talking about this. So we'll get one that works that I can hear.
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop.
Not because, I mean, this is what everybody sees this in. At first, they didn't really state a whole lot when it came to these statements, but people were picking them apart. And the reason why people were picking them apart is we don't see two very emotional parents like we would expect when a child wanders off. And that is the biggest problem that was very noticeable up front. And not only that, but they never really spoke of Sebastian. This is their first introduction to the entire world, the first introduction to get Sebastian's name out, at least to what we knew. If you guys recall, it wasn't until a month or two later that we realized that they did an earlier interview on Duchess. We had no idea they were on Duchess. That did not even remotely come about until like 2 months later. And that was the first time we seen their first actual interview. But to the world, this was their first introduction of them and their missing child. And you don't even hear anything about a missing child. You don't see a mother with her son clutching to a photo. You don't see any avocation or any begging. If you guys see him, he's out there. I know he's out there. This is what he looks like. If you see him, please call. We didn't see any behavior we normally see with a parent in similar situations. And again, I'm educating my audience. I am sick and tired of the PC that everybody grieves differently. Well, explain to me why no matter what mother you go and tell their child is dead, why do they all sound the same to me? To hear a mom bellow when they find out their child's not coming home, why do they all sound the same to me? If people grieve differently, why aren't some of them laughs? Why aren't some of them, okay, I understand? It doesn't make sense. So this illusion that defense attorneys like to manufacture in our brains to somehow all of the people that hold their crap together like this keep getting convicted while everybody that's blubbering a mess, it just doesn't make sense. There is very much known behavior of people missing their children and known behavior of people creating hoaxes, as the deception detective would like to say. Something hasn't been right. And you guys remember, and this is what led me to the deception detective. Because you guys, it was this case and the Jennifer Soto case. Or Maddie Soto, but it was over Jennifer's interview. But it wasn't her case, it was her daughter's case. And I like the behavior panel. I like Chase Hughes. I like Greg Hartley. I like the other two that are on there, you know. But at the end of the day, what led me to the deception detective or to look at other avenues for information, because we relied a lot on the deception detective. But it was their assessment of this very interview right here that we're playing. And it was so far off base and out of touch with what their teachings that I was like, what? And so when the deception detective started coming about, I started looking at it. He's been around a while. You know, he's amassed quite a dedicated following, but he deals with statements. And so you go back and you listen to some of the statements, and I liked what he made. And I liked what he stated, but I've utilized, the behavior panels for some analysis and understanding of certain cases as well. They're just two tools for us to use without us having to have the actual experience or the education. But I do not like the behavior panel's assessment of this interview. And when we heard the deception detective analyze this same interview, I was more engaged with his assessments than I was the behavior panel, which I had the utmost respect for until this case and their assessment. So again, we don't have a whole lot. We know that they went to Costco Saturday. We don't know what time or anything like that, but we do have the picture of optimism. Now that we know that there were two pictures taken at the Texas Roadhouse, many people want to know why they chose to use the Costco photo the day before instead of the more recent and up-to-date photo that they would have had that night. And we've never gotten a good answer to that. But I've always been ultra skeptical of this investigative body for one reason and one reason only. I thought they were very deceptive in their response to the public when public had concerns that there were people that were family and or very close ties to the Proudfoots working on their case. And a lot of local people in their community wanted to address it. And so they went up to the sheriff to ask him. And one of the first things out of Sheriff Struggle's mouth was, do you live here? Basically, are you a taxpayer? Do I, if you take $1 of federal, let me school you, little boy. Knock, knock. Let me school you, Mr. Sheriff Struggles. Let me school you. You take $1 of federal funds, we're all your damn taxpayers. You answer to a lot of us. Because I'm telling you, it's people that get these things pushed through that get your federal funds. So this whole thing, thinking you don't answer to anybody but your voters? There are things people like me in force can do that disrupts that flow. We're very effective on disrupting flows. Just saying. Because I damn sure want to make sure I flex my muscle the next time, so the next time you see a non-taxpayer coming into your community, you treat them with the same respect as you do your voters. Because we do have a lot of pull. In numbers, we do. So we know that they went to the Strikes and Spares. Sebastian and Katie had dinner, and they arrived, shortly before 6. We could see them, thank goodness, to at night private intelligence, at night creative intelligence. We did get that footage. The public didn't have that footage prior to their assistance in acquiring that. And while they analyzed it first and only gave us the nuggets of stuff that they had not, that they'd allow us to look at, it did tell us about the time they walked in the door. We got to see the lady come in, grab them, and take them to their seat. We also observed Katie kind of tossing a menu at her son. A lot of people don't hand menus that way. We observed Katie at least appearing strange. Okay. She was looking around. This whole thing with Texas Roadhouse, I completely understand why people are fixated on the Texas Roadhouse. Because we're observing weird behavior right before a child disappears. That's why a lot of us can't get away from the Texas Roadhouse. I mean, we have a woman that is, looking around, right? She's looking around. There's no reason because she's got a full drink. You could see there's silverware on the table. She didn't ask for anything the entire time she was there. You pay at your table. I know. I went to that very location and had dinner. I bought the real me too. You know, we both needed something. She was my ride or die. We went out for some steaks to kind of investigate a little bit. We were good. Just saying. We didn't bother nobody. We tipped well. But I was in there. And I know where to pay. Very easy. That box on the table, right there. And you can even split it up. You can do whatever you want with that bill. I could have given the whole bill to the real me too. I could have just paid for the dessert. I could have just paid for my beverage. I could have just paid for whatever I wanted and stuck the rest of it to the real me too if I so chose. But you do it right there from the table. You do it right there from the table. So there was no reason for what I'm trying to convey is there's no reason for her to be looking around the way she was looking around unless she was looking for somebody. And I think that's, you know, the stuff that BMW, Mama Rissa, Hindsight are focusing on. And like I said, I understand that. But I can't get, you know, there's only so much we can acquire from the footage that we've got. Does it look suspicious? Yes, but until something kind of gels together, it's just a whole bunch of different events, you know? So that's where the issue is there. But if you look at everything you're looking at, the reason why we're all stuck at the Texas Roadhouse is because we're observing Katie acting abnormally. That's why. And within a few short hours, her son is gone and gone forever. I mean, yeah, it's something. What is it? I don't know. I don't know. But it's something. So they get there a little before 6. They leave around. They start walking around 6:22 and change. Okay. They get to the door. There was they're out the door. There was that whole thing where Katie's talking to this green hoodie gal. And that was all weird in of itself because, you know, if the lady was down there or she was, you know, using substances or if she had fallen, it doesn't seem like Katie would, you know, put her arm, you know, kind of relax there and just sit there like that and talk to somebody. Okay. I probably wouldn't do that. And it's this fact that it appears that something was handed off according to some of the people that previewed the video footage that at night had produced. So we have a whole lot of weird stuff going there, but by about 6:25, they part ways, they head out. Now, this is where a lot of us kind of part ways at, or a few of us kind of part ways at the Texas Roadhouse. So Texas Roadhouse is a place of concern, period. It is a place of concern without a doubt. It is a place that we can identify that Sebastian was at shortly before he disappeared. So that is, you know, that is an area that has to be resolved. It has not been resolved yet. That's why we have so many, you know, back and forth. And even I don't know, you know, could he have been something have happened right then and there? I don't know. Could something have went on down the road before they made it home? I mean, I don't know. Me personally, with everything I've seen, it appears to me he made it home. But what have I not saw? You know, what do I not know? And that's where the whole, you know, kind of riding the fence, and I hate riding the fence. You guys know I love being opinionated. I'm perfectly fine being opinionated. I'm perfectly fine being opinionated in the right way. I'm perfectly fine being opinionated the wrong way. But I'm an opinionated person. And so I like to have stuff that I can formulate opinions on. And right now it's hard. I have to ride the fence because you see both sides of this, right? You see that there is suspicion over here. This doesn't look right. We get that. But what does it mean? We don't know. That's the other part. And it's like that. It's like the claw machine. You know how we go and put like the dollar or the 50 cents in the claw machine to grab it, and it like gets right on top of it, and the clasp just doesn't quite grab it tight enough. That's the way I feel about the whole Texas Roadhouse information. right? I feel like it like there's something there. I feel like there's something there. It's just always just never quite enough. It's never quite enough. So when you guys hear me talk about the claw machine, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's never quite enough. So it's not getting me off the fence. I like things off the fence. But right now I'm straddling the fence with this. Right now, I believe he made it home. Do I know if he took out the garbage? Honestly, because it took so long to hear about this garbage, I don't know. I don't believe anything that comes out of these two people's mouths. Nothing. Even if they were telling the truth, I don't believe it. They've lied and just literally so blessed much. But they according to them, if they went straight from, and we're going to have to use inferences here because I do know that we have two opposite ends of the spectrum that support this channel. So we have the scenario where, you know, he really didn't make it home from the Texas Roadhouse. And then we have the scenario where he did make it home from the Texas Roadhouse. Now, I don't know how the whole event would be if he did make it home from the Texas Roadhouse, or what the purpose of the flashlight video, what would they be doing at that time of morning? Because if it had nothing to do with the abduction, they could have done it earlier or later and nobody would have been the wiser. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how all this stuff plays in with him not making it home. So since I'm more fluid and have the opinion that he made it home, we're going to go with the home theory for this particular situation, because we have to talk about the garbage can, right? We have to talk about the garbage can, and the garbage can was allegedly moved from the garage area full to the road. But here's the thing. This doesn't even make sense to me either, because when you hear Katie explain it, and I don't remember which one it is, but we will find it throughout this process as we're going back to the beginning of the Sebastian Rogers case and getting everything up to snuff. It is the garbage, because what Katie said to the public and what she's implying are two things. I've never heard her say out of her mouth that he took the garbage cans to the end of the driveway. I don't believe. We may find some. It's been a little while. It's been a year. But just hear me out before you guys start saying, I remember when she said this, she said that. We've heard that he took the trash out. Okay? We have to understand. She said he took the trash out. But when you heard her again, he took all the trash out of my vehicle. And so now that changes things a little bit, because is she saying he took the trash out referring to interior car trash? Like, hold on. Like interior car trash, you know? Or are they talking about the big garbage cans? Because she didn't say the cans. She said he took the garbage out. That was his chore. But I've got her on camera, on her mouth, saying he took out her car, you know, the trash out of her vehicle, her car. I think she said her car. He took out all the car trash, or the trash out of the car. It was one or the other. So it almost implied it was this, not the trash cans. Go back and listen to the word she used. She never said trash cans. She said he took the trash out. That was his chore. And I've got her on camera, it coming out of her mouth that he took out the trash from her vehicle. I will find it, and it might be in today's show. I don't know. I just know that I heard it. I know it came out of her mouth specifically. I know we've addressed it on another show. And I remember backing it up and rewinding it multiple times on another show about the trash. Might be able to type trash in on my research on my channel, and it might pop up. I don't know. Hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you. Judy, it's nice to see you as well. Nani, I see you up in the house. It's good to see you, beautiful ladies. April, I didn't get a chance to say hey to you. Rose, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well today. Eric, I see you came into the chat. We got Nero V. It's nice to see you. If I missed you guys, it's nice to see you. Hey. I know that I saw Hindsight come in here. It's great to see you, Love Bug. I hope you're doing well. So, we're hearing that this whole garbage can thing would have been about, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes after he came home. So now we have to go and try to apply a little bit of math. And this is something that we don't know about. We can only assume, right? We'll be within a minute or two. Okay, that's a good assumption. If we can do an assumption and be within a minute or two of the timeline, that for what we need it for, that's good. So if they left the Texas Roadhouse, okay, and they left there, let's give a nice number. So say 6:25. That's something that we're familiar with. 6:25, they pulled out of the driveway, they headed home. The drive home, no matter which route you take, there's 3 different routes. It's anywhere between 10 to 12 minutes to get home. So based upon that, they would have been arriving at home anywhere between 6:47, 6:50, somewhere around that area. So they said within 15 to 20 minutes of him coming home, he took out the trash. Well, that would make that timing, for the purposes of your timeline, anywhere between 7 to 7:05 to be safe, right? To equate that or 7:05, 7 to 7:10, I think is a good window. It's only a 10-minute window. That's good for what we need it for. So he would have been out there taking the garbage out between 6:47 and say 7:10, give or take. So who was it? Was it truly him? Or did we already see the trash cans out there, and what we're not seeing is that he did go out to the trash cans to take this with garbage and put it into the trash can? So I don't know. I've got conflicting information on this trash thing, and I know that this is a contentious spot for people, because some people believe it was Katie that took the trash out, because the person that took the trash out was observed in a hoodie. The only person wearing a hoodie that night, in my opinion, or that we can absolutely without a doubt state, was Katie Proudfoot. She was the one in the black hoodie. She was the one in the black hoodie at the Texas Roadhouse. Was she still the same person in the same black hoodie taking out the trash? And I think that's the way she's been able to manipulate people. And I think this is a way that they have been able to manipulate people, because they're not telling the whole story. They're giving you bits and pieces of it. They're implying that Sebastian may have taken the garbage cans out, when he could have just been taking the trash out of her car out in a bag no bigger than this. So I don't know. Could he have been in her car while she's walking the trash cans out? Could he be in the car picking up all the stuff in the car and then went out there and dumped it in as she walked back in the house? I don't know. We don't have footage. We don't know what's on there. All we know is that there is some issues around this garbage can. And it's an important issue, because this was how people made their decision whether they believed he made it home or not, or whether they believe he was at home to take that garbage out. Many people believed it was Katie. Many people believed that Katie made it home all by herself and staged the scene to make it have the appearance that Sebastian did these things, so she could act like he did come home. That's why it's so important, at least at the beginning. I don't know what it means for people now. At 9 p.m., we learned that she told her son to go to bed, and he came out and she chuckles about that. Basically says, I told him to go to bed, and he did. And we picked that up on the very first interview before we knew about this case. When I heard that laugh, I stopped and I said, to me, that sounds like she has a problem with him sleeping or going to bed. And we called that. And that was on the very first time we looked at this interview. I called that. So the whole introduction of the thud in his room is another point of contention in this case, because none of us knew about it at first. There was no talk of a thud. There was no mention of a thud publicly. Now, we did learn there had been mention of a thud prior to us knowing about this case, because according to Miss Bobby, one of the neighbors, Katie was speaking to another neighbor rolling through trying to figure out what was all the commotion about. And Katie just started vomiting basically her script that she told law enforcement. Well, in that script, she talks about being in the kitchen and around 11:30, her hearing a thud or a thud or a thump in Sebastian's room. I can't remember verbatim the specific word used when Miss Bobby said that, but that was what was going on there. Okay, well, now it's changed to 10. How does a thud move an hour and a half? It doesn't make sense. And that person would have been one of the people that she spoke to before she spoke to anybody else, before we, the public, even heard her first interview with Duchess. If you go the interview room, Chris McDonough, he has a guy that comes on there. He's also a statement analysis. His name is Steve Johnson. Now, Steve Johnson is the one that was, analyzing this clip here, what we're watching here. And I remember one thing that resonated with me, and it was, you want to go back to the earliest statements that you can find, because the earliest statements are the most resemble what they told law enforcement at the time. And that's super important, because people, when they're lying, they've got to try to build on that, and things start getting moved around, like maybe a thud not happening at 11:30 and happening at 10. Just didn't quite fit when they had to put everything down on paper. It just didn't quite fit way up there. It was already after a whole bunch of other stuff. So they needed to move it down here, to make sure it flows well. So, I don't know what the case may be, but 9 p.m., we're told he went to bed. That seems to be one of the most consistent things here. What we've learned since this whole changing from 11:30 thud to 10 o'clock thud, we've had very much consistency, but it's only been consistent on the times. So we know that this is the consistency. We know that the same time has been used. 9 o'clock he went to bed, 10 o'clock is the thud, midnight's when she went to bed, and 6 a.m. is when he wasn't in his room. Okay? But the description of those times keep changing and migrating. The descriptions of those times. So outside of the time being consistent, nothing else is consistent. We definitely know we're going to have a 9, a 10, a midnight, and a 6 a.m. But the stories around those times keep changing. So the times stay the same. The information doesn't. Katie went to bed at midnight, literally for an hour. For a year. She went to bed at midnight for the last year. And then all of a sudden, NBC does this Dateline article, and now she's going to bed at 11 as opposed to midnight, even though every single interview she gave for an entire year, and I know why she had to shave an hour off, because there was too much movement in that house after 11. And she kept repeatedly saying that she was up until midnight, and there is entirely too much activity going on in that house. So now it needs to be Sebastian doing it. And the only way Sebastian can be doing it is if she's in bed asleep. She thinks this is our first rodeo. She thinks this is our first rodeo. So 12 a.m., Chris Proudfoot, who was in Memphis for work, told Katie to go to bed. Well, according to the NBC article, She should have already been asleep because she went to bed an hour prior to that. On the 26th, Katie wakes up, 6 a.m., Sebastian's out there, immediately calls Chris within 1 to 3 minutes. We're uncertain about that because, whatever. She doesn't know. It's funny how she was on the phone with him the night before. The last person to speak to her before her son disappears, and the first person she speaks to the next morning. I don't know. It's kind of a little weird. She didn't call anybody. She didn't call the neighbors, didn't call up to the school, didn't call, one of the teachers on their cell phones. I mean, everybody knows everybody in that town. Should be pretty easy to get a phone number for a teacher, no? No? I would think that I'm very resourceful. I think a military trained MMA fighting mom would be resourceful too. I know I'm scary and stuff. I'm so resourceful. I scare military trained people, but maybe they wouldn't be so scared if they were a little more resourceful. Might be something. I don't know. But she made no phone call. Does anybody find that action odd? Do you guys find it odd that her child's missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and she doesn't make one call to anybody in Hendersonville, Tennessee to see if they've seen her son? But the very first call she does make is to somebody all the way in a different state? Why do you think that is? She didn't call Seth. Yeah. Actually, the first words out of Chris Proudfoot's mouth was, "Don't be mad." He didn't call Seth saying, "Hey, what's going on with your son? Your son took off. Have you heard from him? Did he tell you where he was going to do this? We know you're a little closer to your son than we are. Has he talked about being unhappy here?" The normal things that parents would ask. Concerned parents, of course. We have to make sure we've got that. Concerned parents. You're hitting the nail on the head. There's a lot to be had here. There's a lot to be had. Not one call to anybody in Sumner County from Katie's phone. That's interesting. Quite interesting. So she couldn't call him. She calls Christopher Proudfoot about 2:03. And allegedly, he immediately called, according to this statement that you see right here, he immediately called. Because that's what parents are supposed to do. Immediately call. Yet we found out their call didn't come in until 6:33. They tried to stage that too. They tried to put Katie out there on the road, so they were all nervous like, And she's, you got to get out of the house. You got to go act like you're looking for him. Okay, I'm around the corner. I'm at the neighbors. I'm driving around. All right, I'm going to call him now. We're going to have to try to get you back to the house, okay? You don't do anything until I tell you to. I know you're searching, but we need to get that recorded on the 911 thing. So just shh. I'll take care of it. Katie, you need to get back to the house. Okay, I'm heading there now, honey. Well, she was only one street over when that call was made. And we were told that this Yahoo was up in a crane. I didn't know the driver's seat of his truck was the top of a crane. Because that's where Christopher Proudfoot was when this call came in. In his truck. In his truck. At the job. In his truck. So we have 6:18 to 6:48. So 6:33, the dispatch for the missing juvenile came in. They dispatched people about 7 minutes later. And this is all wrong too. I don't know how I got that all messed up. So and prior to the call, the 6:33 call, I got this out of order. At 6:20, Seth. So before they even call law enforcement, If they were going to call, let's put this in perspective. If they were going to call Seth before they called law enforcement, don't you think they should have asked Seth some questions about his son? Wouldn't that be the only purpose that you're calling the father before you call law enforcement? Is to ask him questions? Why did they call Seth and leave Seth text messages and a voicemail before they called law enforcement? That's what their call logs indicate. And then we find out that he just wanted to tell Seth that the child was missing. He didn't ask Seth any questions. Again, we're talking about asking him normal parental questions. Has your son said he was unhappy here? I mean, they did think he just walked away, that he ran away from home. No. Happy children don't have a tendency of running away from home. So you would think that if he ran away from home, wouldn't they be questioning people inconsistent with this he ran away from home? So why were they not asking Seth basic and normal questions anybody would ask? You've all had or know of somebody that's had a child run away from home for no other reason than they were having a temper tantrum because mommy and daddy didn't let them do something. People know. Most of them run to the other parent's house to run away or to grandma's house because kids just don't know where to go. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So why would Chris be calling Seth, texting Seth, but not there to ask him any questions to be relayed to law enforcement, and waits to call law enforcement even another blessed 13 minutes after he reached out to Seth? The phone call logs will show that Seth was reached out to at 6:20, and Chris called the non-emergency dispatch line at 6:33. So what were him and Katie talking about for 20 minutes? Oh, I'm full of shit. Okay, Elisa. Maybe you should go back and suck on the lies be told by those hate squads that don't know their ass from their elbow. I could guarantee you I have more information than you have in your brain, in one of your brain cells. But have a great day. God bless you. Maybe next time you can not be such a Krabby Patty. We love all. Step on my toes, I just block you. So anyways, that's a point of concern there. That's a point of concern. The only time that they should have called Seth is to get additional information that they were going to need to relay to law enforcement. And so then we have Seth. He goes over there. He ends up getting to the house. He arrives. I've always been confused about his arrival time, but I believe he gets off at 7:20. He left. It takes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get there. So I'd have to say safely before 9 a.m. I know he was there definitely way before 9 a.m., but I don't know how much before 9 a.m., but he was there before 9 a.m. 11:17, so 2 hours or so after he gets there, they issue the endangered child alert. Why don't I not have the date for this one? And then the 27th, sorry, I didn't put the 20th, that was on the 26th. And then on 2/27, I don't know why I didn't put the date on this, they upgraded that to an Amber Alert. And again, I'm still questioning this whole Amber Alert. 1 p.m., Christopher arrives at home. Christopher arrives at home around 1 p.m. It takes about 2 hours and 50 minutes to 3 hours for somebody to get home. So we can tell, we can within a half an hour, we can determine what time Christopher left work based upon that criteria. I know there's been a lot of people telling you they can get there in 2 hours and stuff like that. Look, I was there. I tried to get there quicker. I've drove multiple different speeds. I'm telling you, it takes anywhere between, now I will give it to this, 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours and 15 minutes and longer depending on traffic. But under 3 hours, you can get there. So I'm going with under 3 hours. I'll even do 3 hours and below. So you got 1, right? 1 to 12, 12 to 11, 11 to 10. So that man was kicked off his job probably closer to 10 a.m. than 11 a.m. Okay? At 4:35, TBI issued another alert asking residents in the Beach High School area along Hallow Pike to check outbuildings garage. Search efforts involved multiple agencies. We all know that. How many drones, canines, helicopter? We've still never gotten a full number of canines that were on the scene or the type of canines that they are. Again, Mr. Struggles apparently lost his tongue. Sumner County event, which is unrelated. No specific unrelated crimes or events reported on this date in available sources, but Sumner County was forced to focused on initiating the search. I think that might have been this crime. It's unrelated crimes situation, but I believe this is around the time that they started doing those Chris Repent things. And that's why it's classified as unrelated on here. We know that the first time mainstream media was used by Chris and Cathy is this one right here. This was done on March 4th, 2024. This is the WSMV interview. This is what we dubbed the green shirt interview. And as you guys can see, very emotionless. They're not touching each other. They are not acting right. There's just something that it's screaming in this interview that just doesn't feel right about their behavior is not, it does not equal the situation at hand. And people have notated that, and it's very noticeable. So this is an unrelated situation as well. After 8 days, they scaled back the search, and then a lot more volunteer searchers came in. Well, we also know on March 4th, this is when all these events were taking place. We were learning they're scaling back the search. We're learning that, Chris and Cathy finally get in front of a camera. And we also learn that a house exploded, which was in closer proximity to the Bowersox. And so, the conspiracy theories were flying, what was this about? Who was it? And it sounds like the lady that was injured is the one that did it. But we didn't know that at the time. But it was definitely a lot of stuff. Now, I just want to let you know, I have recently just covered yet another home explosion out there in Sumner County. The second one in less than a year. This place is a little crazy for me. I don't feel safe going there. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. I'm sorry if you guys live in that county. For me, I do not feel safe going there. That is a concern when you're looking for a home that provides you safety. I do not feel safe. Not only do I not feel safe in your community, I feel unsafe because I don't know what lurks in your community, and I feel unsafe by your own law enforcement. I don't trust your law enforcement, and I don't trust your leadership. I feel threatened every time I go to Sumner County. Threatened. Then after that, Chris and Cathy gave what we dubbed the hands interview to Fox 17. We had another explanation of the explosion aftermath that was also being realized on the same March 7th. So we were doubling those conversations. March 14th, we know the huge importance of March 14th. If you guys don't know the huge importance of March 14th, that was when we realized that there was definitely more going on in Chris and Cathy's home than they wanted us to believe, because we all witnessed and watched two, what we dubbed flashlights, coming from the side of their home out to an unmarked car. That's what we found out on March 14th. Then we roll over to March 22nd. TBI addresses public frustration over scaled back searches. March 25th, Katie and Chris appear on Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. And that's when Katie acknowledges that she believes her child has been abducted. Somebody took her child, yet she has never to this day pled to any abductor or even spoke directly to her son in over a year. Why would a mother, after not having their son, not want to speak to their son? I find that a little odd and bizarre myself. Chris admits to disciplining Sebastian with a belt once, which we know is a lie. Oh, sorry, I forget I got the buttons.
You're a liar! Liar. 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 Liar.
Like that one.
You're a liar. Liar. Nice try, but you're a liar. Liar, liar, liar. Nice try, but you're a liar.
So we know that that's not true. We know that Christopher Proudfoot is an abusive POS, right? An abusive POS, and he's scared of Bullhorn Betty. I'd be scared of Bullhorn Betty if I thought about putting my hands on me. I would definitely be scared. So I guess the only reason why he's so scared is probably because he had dreams of putting his hands on me, and he realized it didn't work out too well for him. I'm a pretty scary person when you put your hands on me. I can promise you that. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But I'm not a 15-year-old medically needy boy. And I know how to put men like him slap on their booty. I will never let a man get close enough to put their hands on me. Nor do I have to. And I say that before anybody. You got to take me to jail? Take me to jail. I don't care. So we have other reported stuff here that they didn't specify in here, but we had something go on March 29th in their county, but I didn't get the specifics of that. It didn't get in there, but there was something. So now we roll to April 2nd, and that's when they started reporting. They've searched the 10,000 miles. They received 314 TBI tips, no evidence of foul play. Well, you know what? When you have your buddies and I mean, if I wasn't looking for foul play, I probably wouldn't find it either, But I'm looking for foul play because their story doesn't make sense. And you know what? I can see circumstantial foul play all over this. But you know what? We haven't heard from the sheriff in a year. Maybe he's scared that he's going to be wherever Sebastian is. Maybe it's real like that. Sheriff, if you're scared, blink once. Okay? Bullhorn Betty will come rescue you. All right? Hey, Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. Hey, you there? Sheriff. Blink once if you're okay. If you're not okay, you just do this. Do this. Don't even make it noticeable. Just do once. Right? Or twice. Just let me know. Let me know. Bullhorn Betty will come save you if you're scared of these people. I mean, they are dangerous and violent. I mean, we do have one missing child. Not an adult. A child. And I have to think missing a child is a lot harder than missing an adult. I could be wrong, Sheriff Snuggle Struggles, but I'll come save you. I'm not scared. Mr. Sheriff? Why are you? A lot of cowardice in Sumner County. A lot of cowardice from people that should be strong and confident. So we're rolling through this. We know that in September, we've got Dog the Bounty Hunter coming in. We know that Seth has been really pushing for information in his son. And I know some of my commentary, upsets him. We have an understanding that I know it upsets him, and he knows I know it upsets him. I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to analyze these cases respectfully. I like the man. I think that he's been wronged. They hit below the belt. like fair fights. I like fair fights, no matter how you look at this. I like fair fights. They hit below the belt. So I decided to put steel toes on. We know that Katie and Chris didn't attend one candlelight vigil. They didn't attend one search. They didn't help raise any money for rewards. Katie says that she's out there all the time, making sure people have new flyers. No, she's not. These people are trying to hide. She changed her appearance. These people are trying to act like they're not going anywhere and staying out very long. You know why? Because they know damn well if they go outside in Sumner County anywhere, their face is going to be debuted all over social media. That's why. So when is she going to freshen up these flyers where nobody can see her? Because I guarantee if her or Chris are outside of that house, not because I just know people. I just know people. And if people see these two out, you bet your ass, wherever they're at, there's going to be pictures. And they're going to be on social media. Because people hate these two. They hate these two, and they don't want to see a smile on their face when they're missing a child. And if I lived in that county, I would be the same way. I absolutely would. I absolutely would. So we also learned that Chris finally, after over a year, came out and told us that the last time he saw Sebastian was on February 2nd at 4:30 in the afternoon. However, we've got information from the school that they were there, all three of them, for a parent-teacher conference. And I believe that happened, not verbatim, but I believe that happened on like the 9th or the 10th, from what I heard. So if he's there on the 9th or 10th, wouldn't that be the last time he saw Sebastian? Just wondering. So now we're going to get into contradictions and inconsistencies. The conflicts with the fact that no security cameras or alarms recorded Sebastian leaving, and Katie reported the front door was locked when she searched the house. If the door required a keypad, it's unclear how Sebastian exited without triggering a notice or leaving evidence. Additionally, Chris's assertion that Sebastian vanished into thin air after walking off the porch contradicts the extensive search, yielding no trace suggesting an alternative exit or scenario. Why a contradiction? The locked doors and keypads system imply controlled access, yet no mechanism explains how Sebastian left undetected. Conflicts with physical evidence of a secure home. Statements on his whereabouts. Chris consistently states that he was in Memphis for work on February 25th to 26th and returned home around 1 p.m. on February 26th after Katie called him. While not directly contradicting, Chris's claims of being in Memphis lacks specific corroboration in public records. He mentioned a ride-along with law enforcement claiming they showed him exclusive information, but no other source confirmed this event, making the statement vague and unverifiable. Why an inconsistency? The lack of details about his Memphis activity and the unconfirmed ride-along introduced ambiguity, as these claims could be used to deflect scrutiny without supporting evidence. Chris admitted to Nancy Grace that he disciplined Sebastian with a belt one time 3 years ago for lying. Inconsistency. The statement responds to a rumor but lacks context. Chris's mission is vague with no other family member or authority to corroborate or refute it. As a matter of fact, we found out that it was a lot more than one time. There are 5 separate cases that were opened at that home related to Sebastian. Why an inconsistency? Isolated admissions without supporting or opposing or supporting evidence. creates uncertainty about the relevance to Sebastian's disappearance or family dynamic, making an incomplete narrative. And as we know, it's not an incomplete narrative because Chris is an abusive, you know what? And that's why there hasn't been a whole lot supporting it, because this stuff can't be released. Chris said the Proudfoots moved to an RV and left Henderson due to heinous threats from YouTubers and social media users. Sumner County's officer stated there was no threats were documented against the Proudfoots, contradicting claims of widespread threats justified their department. But but Sumner County has no problem doctoring affidavits. So I don't trust Sumner County either, because I've caught them lying too many times. That's pretty bad. You can't catch the suspects lying and the police department investigating the suspects. That's pretty shady. And then you couple that with everybody knows everybody, and people have questions, serious questions, whether a friend or family members of these two people actually are working on their case somewhere. The sheriff's office denial of documented threats directly contradict Chris's statements, inconsistencies, and Katie Proudfoot's statements. Katie reported the thud from Sebastian's room at 10 p.m. on February 25th, called out, and Sebastian responded, confirming he was okay. She told him to go to sleep. Inconsistencies. In some sources, Katie said she heard some noise rather than a thud, and the time varies slightly. We talked about the slightly. Delilah, come here. Oh. The lack of specificity about the noise, nature, and exact time combined with no mention of checking on Sebastian physically creates ambiguity about the last confirmed interaction. Why an inconsistency? The shift description, noise versus thud, and vague timing reduces the statement's reliability, especially given the critical importance of the last known contact with Sebastian. The shoes. Katie states every pair of shoes in the house have been accounted for, suggesting Sebastian left barefoot. If all shoes were accounted for, in conflict with the plausibility of Sebastian wandering off unnoticed as barefoot travel in cold February weather would be unusual, especially for an autistic teenager with sensory issues. Additionally, no footprints, we talked about that, or evidence of barefoot travel were reported despite extensive canine searches. Why the contradiction? The claim that Sebastian left barefoot contradicts the lack of physical evidence supporting this scenario, raising questions about how he exited and survived initial exposure. All right, guys, we are at the top of the 2 hours. This is where we are going to take our very first break. This very first break is going to be for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, we're going to make our way through this. We're going to still finish listening to some of this interview as well as Nancy Grace's interview. I think Nancy Grace's interview is very, very, very important. And then once we're done with Nancy Grace, we're going to be taking some questions and looking up some information, but more importantly, all the people that want to be a part, and I mean a part, that you want to physically be part of a committee to help me set up this huge event that we are taking to the governor's mansion. Please stay after we're done with the show. We're going to be talking about what we need to do, how we're going to get this stuff set up, how we're going to be communicating. But I need a rock star team that can really roll out stuff. And we're going to be, divvying things up. Nobody's going to have too much to do, but I need, if you say you're going to do something, I need to rely on you to get it done. If you can't do it, and maybe it's too overwhelming. Maybe some of you guys, the whole intention of great intention of wanting to help, but life gets to you, right? Don't bite off more than you can chew. We want people that can do it. We don't want you feeling stressed out or getting anxious or having anxiety over anything. If you want to be part of it, you can be part of it. We need a lot of help because you got to think of, we're going to have to be talking about, tables. We're going to have to be talking about, stuff. I can't have an event like this without a pop-up. I've got to have my speakers where they're out of the sun. Okay. I'm not going to have a whole bunch of people out there sweating in heat. So we got to talk about sound systems. We got to talk about areas. We got to talk about parking. We got to talk about, event logistics. Okay. And then we got to start talking about, what different sectors we want of people to talk. I've already got an idea of who I want to bring forward for the impact statements type of things. The parents that I want to bring forward from Tennessee to talk about their cases. I don't need those type of conversations. We need other people, nonprofit organizations that help maybe battered women, or programs that help the struggling families stay in their homes for rent, things that really provide resources. So people that are coming out there to support this, if they're in need of resources, we want to make sure that there's tables and events where they can go get resources right there on the spot. When we come in, when I say we go big, we go or go home, we do go big or go home. We bring everything in. Okay. We bring everything in. We promote everybody that's doing the right thing. We get them an opportunity. They can give some swag out there to people, tell them about their services, help them get some funding, do whatever we can. But this is going to be something that is going to be more in line with an event more than a protest. Will we have sign waving? Will we have those type of things? Absolutely. Because we're there in support of tougher laws. So we are going to be hooting and hollering. We are going to be with our signs. We are going to be, critical. But we're also here for solutions. And I think that it's not just about, talking about our grievances. It's about putting the solutions in there as well. So people like me will be up on there talking about all the problems we have. And then we'll have XYZ nonprofit explaining how they're going to be able to close that gap. You see what I'm saying? I'm very strategic when it comes to these types of events. So if it's something that you guys are interested in, please stay after, and we'll start getting that stuff organized and starting our committee. How this is going to be is, you guys know my timing is not a lot. So you guys are going to be helping me. Okay. All right. Break. Guys, we will be back here at 1:13. Be there or be square. We are rolling through the day. And like I said, we've got a lot to go over here. We're just going to go through this case. I feel like Sebastian Waindrake Rogers has not gotten its full attention, at least for a while. And I know he hasn't gotten his full attention that he should be getting from me. So we're paying today. Today was 2 hours. We have a 2-hour break. We will be back here in let's just make it rounded up, 1:15. We'll be back here at 1:15, and then we'll roll until 2:15. We'll take another 10-minute break, and then after that 2:15, we will be getting into the planning of our Operation Angel Wings. All right, we'll see you guys soon. I'm going to play music, so if you guys do want to stay in chat, it doesn't have to be super boring for you, but just know that I will not be back here for at minimum 10 minutes. I need a break. I need to shake my legs. I need a stretch. I need a, right? I need a. So we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys soon.
TGIF, beautiful crime fighters.
Hello, everybody. It's Bullhorn Betty. Happy Friday.
You know what time it is? Grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever it is you're drinking. Let's get into it.
As you guys know, we have a coffee club here where we meet almost every morning.
And it's not just coffee and conversations, right?
We're not just sitting around having coffee and conversating. We're not. We're actually out here in the trenches helping advocate for victims and victims' families.
And then you come to my channel. You see me raising awareness about these victims. You see me raising awareness about these victims' families.
And then you see me take action. I go out and I advocate for them. I'm their voice. I'm their champion. I'm their voice, I'm their champion. I'm their voice, I'm their champion. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime So I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement. Just keep on doing what you're doing. You know, if you are out there fighting for the victims, keep on doing what you're doing. If you're out there trying to advocate for the victims' families, keep on doing what you're doing. If you're out there, boots on the ground, keep on doing what you're doing. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters. Beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters, beautiful crime fighters.
Beautiful crime fighters. I know you are not perfect. Nobody is perfect, right? You're not perfect. But guess what?
God made you perfect. He made you perfectly you. You are perfectly you. You are perfectly you. He made you perfectly you. You are perfectly you. You are perfectly you. You are perfectly you. You are perfectly you. You.
spiteful haze, whispering venom, lost in a maze. They meddle with lives, play a twisted game, but we see the truth, call them by name. They think they own the spotlight's glare, fingers pointing as if they care, but Sebastian's army stands in the light. Through the chaos, we're ready to fight. Get out the way, your eyes won't stay. Sebastian's army clears the fray. Unstoppable force, pure and loud. We rise together, we're battle proud. Your hated falters, fades like a ghost. While our bond grows, it matters the most. Delusion crumbles under our stand. We hold the power when we're here unbroken, won't bend or break. Hearts of iron for the change we make. No interference can dim our glow. Sebastian's army won't let it go. Get out the way, your lies won't stay. Sebastian's army clears the fray. Unstoppable force, pure and loud. We rise together, we're battle proud. We're here unbroken, won't bend or break. Hearts of iron for the change we make. No interference can dim our glow. Sebastian's army won't let it go. Get out the way, your lies won't stay. Sebastian's army clears the fray. Unstoppable force, pure and loud. We rise together.
Yeah, all right. It's nice to see everybody. We needed a break. So I got to take Delilah out, pull my garbage cans up, put the yard waste out there, the whole kit and caboodle, and decided to come in here and try to get this. Let's see, Control F. Oh, come on. Okay, there. Okay, there we go. So this is for the next one. Might as well get them up. There we go. I don't know why the volume was going in and out. It was going in and out on my end with the music. It was really weird, and I don't know, but I know we've been having some audio issues. I don't like StreamYard. As soon as I can take a break and get us converted to a different software, I will. I absolutely will, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So here's the Nancy Grace March 25th interview with Chris and Katie. Many of us are very, very, very aware of this, okay? This has also ran up on our inconsistency or contradiction meter, right? So we're looking into a lot of the inconsistent statements, a lot of the contradictions, because this is where we live. And so in true crime communities, this is where we live. We live in the inconsistencies because the inconsistencies are the issues. So we need to make heads or tails of those. We need to find out what's the truth. When we have two different stories, what do? Who's right? Probably neither one of them, right? So usually somewhere in the middle. But when people go out of their way to try to hide, lie, and stuff like that, it makes it even more difficult. But March 25th, Katie told Nancy Grace that she believes someone took her son because he would have been found by now, she says. He would have been found. Let's find out. Let's listen to this lady's own statement as she says it with a dry face over a month after her, or at the month mark that her son disappeared. Let's see how emotional a mom that's never been without her son is doing without her son for a blessed month.
Before he disappeared.
No, ma'am.
Not to my knowledge.
What is your theory?
Okay. What in the flip is going on here? I got some problems here. Give me a second. This is the second one that I can't play. It's giving me problems. I can't even hear it on my end. What the hell is going on with my system here? My speaker. This is my microphone. Okay, I got my microphone up. Output volume. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but I'm telling you, nothing. I can't hear shit on my end. Some of them I can.
Where
but I can't hear
is Sebastian?
It's not coming in on any of my.
I wish I knew where he was.
Okay. I'm done with this. Oh, that's what it is. Right there. Son of a bitch. I fixed the problem. How in the world it got there, I have no earthly idea. Found the problem. Give me just a second. I'm fixing it now. Son of a, you know what? I was about to say, there's no flipping way. Should not have these technical issues. Okay, let's see if this works now.
What is your theory?
And it's not.
To the house, anything.
I literally have no sound on my end, guys. I can't make this thing work. I seriously can't make this thing work. I got no sound on my end. So flippin' frustrating. Let me refresh this page. So I don't know whether I don't know what the hell's going on here. I just know my sound's not working. So I put you guys to my sound on my computer to see if that'll fix it. So I really don't know if that's going to fix my problem or not, but I guess we will find out since about fucking time. I'm sorry. If you guys don't like my cuss words, I'm sorry. You guys don't know how annoying this bullshit is. I'm over it. I fucking hate StreamYard. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to move over. Whatever, I'll just have to recreate our intros coming in. That's all there is to it.
And there's nothing. The retention pond was only knee deep anyways.
On one occasion, Mr. Proudfoot, you stated that you and Mrs. Proudfoot have been, quote, vetted and cleared of foul play. That was stated on Chronicles of Olivia. Is that true? What do you mean by that?
Yes. So after working with law enforcement of all agencies, they have actually told us that there is no foul play, no nefarious issues. We've been cleared of all wrongdoing. We are working extremely cooperative with all law enforcement agencies at any point in time that they've called, come to the house, anything.
Was Sebastian angry or upset before he disappeared?
No.
Not to my knowledge.
What is your theory about where is Sebastian?
I wish I knew where he was, to be honest.
Your theory.
There we go.
I think it's possible that someone has my son.
Why?
Because I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would found him by now with his...
Chris doesn't look happy with that answer. Can you guys hear me? I took all my equipment off. I wanted to make sure and it's still running like shit, but this is what we can do for right now. Can you guys hear me okay? And if Seth isn't cleared, we know they aren't. I can tell you based on everything we've learned with Lily and Jack's case with Cody, Seth should be cleared. And if Seth isn't cleared by law enforcement, they're idiots. But we already know that, okay? I truly believe that Seth is cleared behind the scenes, and that's why they started opening up communications with him, whether those have soured or not. Obviously their county caters to murderers or alleged murderers than they actually do innocent fathers, but, whatever. I'm sure Sumner County should be so proud of themselves. Great leadership.
As many people as we had searching.
Have you checked his social media?
He doesn't have social media.
Have you checked his phone?
His phone has been thoroughly checked. Yes, ma'am.
So why do you think they were adamant about keeping him off the internet? It seems like they went out of their way to make sure that Sebastian had no internet access. No internet. They like threw him in a room and just left him there. I mean, that's just the way I see it. I agree. Yes, someone does have her son. In my opinion, she knows where he's at. I agree with that. So she tells Nancy Gray she believes someone took Sebastian because he would have been found by now if he had wandered off, given the search scale. Earlier, Katie suggested Sebastian might have wandered off alone, as implied by her initial search and comments about him not being a runner. Her shift to abduction without new evidence, no forced entry or witnesses, makes her theory inconsistent with her initial narrative and law enforcement stance. And I don't think they have a stance, but of stating no evidence of foul play. There is evidence of foul play. So let's clear that up. And I don't need it to come from Sumner County, the people that the cat got their tongue, right? There is evidence of foul play here. The evidence is those lights coming out the side of their house. That's foul play. Those lights going to a car that ends up leaving the area in the middle of the night, that's foul play. Okay? The parents' inconsistencies indicate potential foul play. The fact that this child hasn't been seen by anybody other than Katie Proudfoot indicates foul play. No evidence indicates foul play. So let me clear it up for those in the back of the room. There is evidence of foul play. I wish I had a button to push. Try to get my equipment back on and see if I can get it to work right. I don't like not having my buttons. I don't have my buttons. Don't be messing with Betty buttons now. Don't be messing with them. All right, let's see if we can get this. I'm so frustrated with my equipment right now. It's not even funny. Well, actually, you know what it is? It's the... maybe this needs to go to earpiece? Headset. What's the difference between an earpiece and a headset? I need to figure out what all this thing does. I need to get some more cords. I bet you if I got the cords ran properly, I might have a little more. All the problems might be user created, okay? And all I got to say to that, they should be making this stuff a little bit more Betty friendly, okay? If they want it working right. But Betty don't know what she's doing. I told you I'm not a techie person. Nobody wants to listen to Betty. Nobody wants to listen to Betty. All right. We got it here. Let me go over here. If I can't get it to work, I can't get it to work, guys. But I want my volume working. I want it working right too. Okay. Let's see.
Have you had
Hallelujah! 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 Okay, I'm happy now. Betty's happy. We can do the happy dance. The couch. Yay! I got some voice. Look. I'm ready to party. I got my equipment. Look at that. That's see the gremlins in my system. Okay, we back. Okay, so let's get back here. Now, why the inconsistency? The change from possibly wandering off to abduction lacks supporting evidence, reflecting a speculative leap that muddles her accounts of events. Did you guys hear that? Why an inconsistency? The change from possibly wandering to abduction, no new evidence, so it lacks evidentiary support, and it's reflecting a speculative leap that muddles her account of events. The statement on the front door. Katie said the front door was locked when she searched the house on February 26, supporting the idea that Sebastian left voluntarily. But does that really support he left voluntarily? How many of you guys, raise your hand, right? How many of you guys have electronic locks on your home? We're not going to ask you for your address or what county you live in unless you have $1 million in a safe somewhere, and then I might need to check the content, for your protection, of course. For your protection. So, what? No. Okay, you don't have one? Who? Nope. Keys. Many. I gotta. In my opinion, he was taken out. I believe that might be part of it, possibly. But they had to have known that the guys in the backyard, I think they came out the side. I think there's something with that crawl space. Because the backyard, their neighbor's backyard, has cameras that literally shine right into the back of their backyard. So if they were dragging something out of a back door, I'd have to think that... all right, well, which one of you do have an electronic lock? Have Have you ever used an electronic lock? Maybe I should maybe I should ask that. Maybe not whether you have an electronic lock, but have you ever used one? And not the swipey card ones, the ones that you type. When have you ever had to type in the code to lock the door? You typically do not need to, when you're locking the door, you typically don't need to enter in the code. You only need to enter in the code to unlock the door. So when you're going out, you just push a button, one button, and you hear the thing going, and then you have to push in the button, Some of them can, some of them can't. Mine's all battery operated, so unless you can get into the house to disable the batteries, then because it's on the inside door instead of the outside of the door. But I mean, there's everything's hackable, I believe, anything electronic, anyways, that receives a feed of some sort to work, like phones, computers, stuff like that. Yeah, I believe that. Well, here's the thing: is they're trying to say that by him by the door being locked, that it implies that he left and locked the door, but it doesn't imply that he's the one that locked the door, and it doesn't even imply that he went out that door. That's what they're assuming because nobody saw, allegedly. They weren't the ones carrying the blob to the car. It was some other phantom in their house that they say nobody would ever break into their house. Well, obviously there was somebody else in your house besides Katie and Sebastian. Evidence supports that. You know, that non-foul play evidence that really is evidence of foul play. So we've got that, and I wanted to point that out because it says that this kind of supports that idea, and I don't know if it does, because you don't need a code to lock a door. You only need the code to unlock it. So whoever unlocked the door would have had to have the code or be knowledgeable of the code, but whoever locked the door behind, they could have been any stranger off the street hitting the lock button. Just saying. This conflicts with Chris's claim of a keypad locked the front door. It is unclear how Sebastian exited a secure home without detection, especially if all doors required keys or codes. No security footage or alarm records confirm an exit. Which is interesting because I truly believe we know that they had an ADT system in their house. And it is my understanding that if there is security equipment already in the house, it doesn't really matter whether ADT put it in there, Brinks put it in there, somebody else put it in there. If it's another off name like Moose or some other more industrial type of security systems, those things are, you don't have, when you, like, say it's your original subscription or whoever put it in is ADT. Well, say you want to now be monitored by Brinks as opposed to ADT. Maybe it's because you work for a company as opposed to another company. Maybe it's because they give you a better monthly rate than the other company did. Maybe they offer you a little more features than the other company did. But it typically doesn't require a whole system change out. They usually change out a few components in the motherboard to make it, if even that, I don't know how user-friendly the equipment is this day and age. From one to the other, but typically it's almost like a cell phone. You know, you could have an off-brand cell phone and hook it up to, like, say, Verizon, even though you started out with AT&T. It's something similar to that, where they don't really need to change out the equipment. So it always made me wonder, because Katie did work for Brinks, even though they didn't allegedly have any security cameras. We do know that their house was furnished with a security system before they purchased it. So the prior owners of 1008 Stafford Court actually had an ADD security system installed in their house. So they had the security system in, and typically the motherboard and the logs record the doors opening when it opens. There is a motherboard, whether that system is hooked up to a service to monitor it or not. It still has a motherboard. It still has a somewhat of a recording mechanism. And I keep wondering, did they get that? And if that was missing out of their house, we've got problems, because it shouldn't have been. And that's something that somebody installing a system would know about. So I'm curious to find out at what time which doors open, because I guarantee all those doors had the sensors on them, unless they were disabled. And on those security systems and security pads, you have the ability to bypass zones. Okay? My father used to install these things. Trust me, I grew up on them. Much more advanced system than anything Brinks could ever come up with. So you have the ability to remove zones, remove sensors. You can stop, you can open a window. Did you know you can secure your whole house and disable one little magnet, open that window, and that would be the only window in the house that gets fresh air, and you still have if anybody walks into any other door, it will light up like a Christmas tree. That was how advanced our security systems were back in the 90s. Okay? When my father was installing them, when I was a young kid, back in the 80s and 90s, that's how the technology was for our security systems back there. Now our security systems are much smaller, much more advanced, and much more digital. But there's a lot of nuances to them. So contradiction about this keypad. Nobody saw how Sebastian left. But again, there's no security footage, no line. Why the contradiction? The locked door claim combined with the key detail contradicts the narrative of Sebastian leaving undetected. No evidence supports an unauthorized exit. No abduction. Below are identified contradictions in statements by law enforcement agency, Sumner County, TBI, with explanations. Statements on threat against volunteers. Statements. Sumner County's office stated on April 29th, no threats had been documented against the United Cajun Navy. I can tell you that I have personally heard and know of people going and filing reports about the harassment that they received, including myself, while I was there. I called law enforcement twice while I was in town reporting my harassment. My harassment was very much public. And there's no if and ands or buts about what was done to me, because it was that public. So Sheriff Snuggles is lying about as much as Chris Proudfoot is. Why would a sheriff have a vested interest in lying about a case to the public when he has no reason to lie to the public? He hasn't given a shit. Let's be honest. But we know for a fact that is a lie. The United Cajun Navy reported specific threats, including attempts to run volunteers over, which conflicts with the sheriff's claim, no documentation. Why a contradiction? The sheriff's office denial directly opposes the Cajun Navy's detailed account, suggesting either unreported incidences or a discrepancy in official records, or just a piece of garbage law enforcement body that doesn't mind lying to the people, lying under oath, and failing at their job because they're too broke to do it. Just a thought. Evidence of foul play. Statement. Sheriff Eric Craddock stated on April 2nd, April 2nd of 2024. The piece of crap sheriff has not provided his public, a grieving father, or, his voter base, one scintilla of information since April 2nd. I find that despicable, appalling, and the people in Sumner County that allow that to happen, it's inexcusable. If it was your child, you wouldn't allow it, but you allow it while it's somebody else's. I find that disgraceful. Not just their law, the community. Listen, we hold our community accountable here in Manatee County. It's not just me here like me. We got a whole bunch of people like me here. And if you don't have that in your community, you are failing your citizens. You are failing your citizens, and this is the kind of crap you'd have to deal with because your citizens are failing each other. Because you guys have to stick up for each other in times of need. You've got an out-of-control sheriff. They're arresting people for DUIs that they did not even get behind the wheel and get drunk. They're throwing people in jail for speech. You've got some serious problems out there in Sumner County, folks. Serious problems. And then you got this douchebag sheriff that won't even open his mouth on the biggest freaking the case he's got because he's ill-equipped for the flipping case. He can't handle it. It's above him. And if it was your child, this would be unacceptable, but you stand idly by and watch this happen to somebody else's child under his leadership. And you give Seth no support. Where are you guys going up there and blowing up sheriff's phone? Where are you standing in front of him and saying, we want answers? Because I guarantee if there was a family in this town dealing with this from my sheriff, you bet your ass I would be up there and be raising hell with them. Because that's what we do here. We empower others and we stand strong in the midst of shit like this. And I can't just blame the sheriff's office. I got to blame the community in part as well. Because where are the voices? Where are the signs? Where's the advocation? I want you to reach into your soul and say, what would you want the community to do if it was your child? And do that. And do that for somebody else. That's what I want you to do if you're out there in Sumner County. They are scared? Get balls. Because I'm telling you, the people running your county ain't got none, nor do they have a backbone. You'll be finally pleased with yourselves to stand up to the weak in your county. You guys are scared of weaklings. You, the public, you hold the power. You hold the power for change. Scared of what? A bunch of whiny politicians? You look in their face and say, we've had enough. If you keep this kind of conduct up, you're out. You do that and you remove that person. You want to talk about liberation? You want to talk about feeling of accomplishment? Nothing can ever accomplish that. And then you realize how powerful you are and how unscary these people become. Don't be scared of them. Don't be violent. Do everything properly, above board, lawfully, and legally. Don't be scared of them. I damn sure wasn't scared of them. I was pissed. I had to control myself. But they did what they did. They are doing what they did to me to other people in that county. And in the community itself, you guys have to make decisions for yourself. And moral ones at that. Because this is a horrible stain on your community. A horrible stain that everybody publicly is seeing. And it's your failed leadership. You guys have the power to force Craddock out of the shadows. Force him out. He owes you an explanation. You've been paying him ungodly amounts of money to act like a little wussy that can't stand and tell you guys the truth. He can't find any creativity on how to convey what's going on in this case without affecting the integrity of the case because he's ill-equipped, he has no training, and he's a fish out of water at this point. He doesn't know what he is doing. He needs a little more education. 5 or 6 years with the badge is not enough to run a department. He might look good and pretty on a postcard. I'll give him that. But I will take frickin' the Hamburglar, right? Grimace. I'll take him if he's effective over a pretty boy on a postcard. He's got a pretty face and a pretty smile. And you Tennessee people and ladies, you guys will vote for that Tennessee face, that Tennessee smile, won't you? While he's taking your money and doing squat with it. Pimp struggle snuggles. He pimpin'. He pimpin'. He pimpin'. He pimpin'. So on February 26th, Craddock reiterates no evidence of foul play, but said detectives consider all possibilities. Inconsistency, the repeat emphasis on no foul play despite an active Amber Alert. Can we say the sheriff's a freaking idiot? Okay, let's say it. Let's say it together. Sheriff Snuggles Struggles, you are an idiot. And Mr. Snuggle Struggles, I can't wait to say those wonderful 3 beautiful words that Donald Trump made so meaningful. You are fired. Can't wait. I can't wait until I can pull a Donald Trump on Mr. Snuggle Struggles. Just saying. Can't wait. The day will come. So I find it awfully laughable that they repeatedly have emphasis on no foul play. They got to stroke little D, Chris P, his ego and stuff, because he's a yeller and he likes to throw his weight around. And Sheriff Snuggle Struggles, the little short guy, is a little scared of the big burly guy. So we got a pussy running the sheriff's department. Excuse me to all my Christian people that hate hearing me talk with such foul language, but sometimes just using the good language is just not effective enough. I'm just saying. Little DCP. I knocked my camera out to boot. And the storm's rolling in. All right, give me just a second. Let me fix this shit. Oh. Hooked on feeling. I know it's thundering out. Come here, baby. Come here. Oh, that's my little good girls. That's my little good girls. Yeah, little people. I know. Just a little thunder. It's just a little thunder. Yeah. Just a little thunder. They're not going to come get you. All right? You want to stay here? Okay. You want to get down? Okay. I'm glad I could comfort you. Okay. So let me try to say this with a straight face. So inconsistency. The repeat emphasis on no foul play despite, I don't think I can do it. It's already starting to creep up again. Despite an active Amber Alert. That's like over like contradiction. That's like contradiction on steroids. There's no evidence of foul play, but we do have an active Amber Alert. Doesn't that imply abduction? I mean, is abduction no longer a crime in the state of Tennessee? I'm so confused. You know what the problem is? We got people in Sumner County that can't read. That is what the problem is. The sheriff's department and their state attorney don't know how to read. They don't know how to read state statute. That's got to be the answer to this, right? They must not have a dictionary that tells them what foul play actually means or what the elements of foul play are. Maybe we need to send them some bullet points or some 3x5 index cards. I know when I was studying for tests, those 3x5 index cards were amazing. Maybe we need to send them some study cards. Maybe that's what we need to do. And maybe we should send Lisa Byington to an education to teach her how to fill out affidavits, and also that it is also a crime for a police officer or sheriff, detective to also lie on an affidavit. Punishable. What is it? 2 years, up to 2 years in prison and $2,500. I want my $2,500. I'll take cash. I think I'll just take cash, Lisa. I don't trust your kind, so I wouldn't be taking any type of check or credit card from you, ma'am. Sorry, not sorry. So the lack of specific evidence shared why abduction is considered makes the statement vague, fueling public confusion about the alert's basis. Imagine that. Are we confused about why the alert was ever put on to begin with? Yeah. I mean, there's no foul play, no possibility of an abduction. So why do we have an abduction alert on Sebastian that exists today when everybody under the sun says this boy was not abducted? Why is there still an active Amber Alert for an unabducted child? Doesn't make sense, does it? A lot of stuff in Sumner County doesn't make sense, and I have a funny feeling it's because they don't actually follow the flippin' law. Sounds to me like they try to just make up their own law and say, it sounds like the law should be this, whether it is or not. They have failed policies. They have poor leadership. They're lacking proper law enforcement training in Sumner County. And Bullhorn Betty says that, and I'm telling you, I got a great batting average on this channel. Great batting average on this channel. In a lot of places, I'm spot on. I have some work to do. I'm not always right. But I can't say I am right a lot. I can't say I am right a lot. We have a $50,000 reward. We have a private investigator. We're not talking about SF. He can kiss a big old fat toe. I'm not even giving him that piece of shit plug. The investigation appears stalled with no breakthroughs since early 2024. Law enforcement's focus on investigative leads over ground searches suggest a shift in analysis existing data or awaiting new tips. Well, if you're not looking at Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot as suspects, then I guess you just don't know how to do your blessed job. It's that simple. The discrepancy between the Amber Alert and no foul play evidence exists a cautious approach, possibly to avoid ruling out an abduction permanently. These people are freaking sick. Sebastian's autism and sensory issues remain central to theories about his disappearance, but whether he wandered off or was taken or met another fate remains unknown. The timeline and contradictions relied on a variety of information. As you guys know, this is a variety of information that has been collected from all over the internet. I have gone through Facebook, X, Instagram. Even there for a while, we've even looked at some Reddit. I hate Reddit. Much like 4chan, it's not a place that I work at. It's not a place that I ever go and pop up over to. Occasionally, when a search will come up and a Reddit post will pop up in my search, I may preview it. I'm not a Reddit. I don't like Reddit. I think that is a hot mess express. What they did to Sebastian's Reddit subthread is disgusting. Those animals took it over. And anybody that had reasonable, I mean, it's ran by the piece of shit that's associated with fat lips and chlamydia and that bowdy piece of garbage woman. I swear to God, and people were sending me posts about it, was saying, whoever this person is that's been responding to her, thank you for that. But obviously you've got common sense, and she runs from it every chance she gets. She lies. And she sat there, and I was reading through this, and I'm like, get him, get him, get him. So that was sent to me, I don't know, several days ago. Somebody came across it and sent some screenshots to me. And I thought, that was, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I can take care of myself, though, but I do appreciate that. And the problem being is, she always says she brings the receipts, but when forced to produce the receipts, she wants you to go look for it, right? Oh, it's there. No, you said you don't say stuff without receipts. Where are those receipts? Where are those receipts? It's so funny. It's all about the illusion they create for their audience. Nothing more, nothing less. Just the illusion. Just the illusion. All right, guys. So now that we're back, we are now down to our final little tidbit here. We know the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and for many of us, we believe his mom and his stepdad are responsible for whatever happened. Okay. I'm more narrow focused, and I know a lot of people are more open-minded when it comes to this particular topic. It's because of how I've been treated, and I'm thinking nobody would do that unless this was really, really bad. So I have a little more personal insight perspective, in my opinion, when it comes to this. And I truly believe there was something with all their traveling, all of them going all different directions, all at the same time, while the whole world was searching for their son. There's something not right here. I'm not going to keep pounding into your head how I feel, but I'm going to keep it forever calling Katie and Christopher alleged murderers. And I'm going to continue to do it because that is my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and I will convey it any damn time I please in America. And I think not only did Katie lose her shit, but Chris is entirely too confident after they came back from all those trips. It makes me sick to my stomach to think. But let's face it, nobody has seen Sebastian since February 25th. Not a camera, not a scent, not a dog, not a person, nobody. That child walked into a house with Katie and did not walk out. Somebody left that house with a blob to a car with another person, and only one person went back to that house. Only one person woke up into that house that next morning, in that house the next morning. That person was Katie Proudfoot. So the way I look at it, the way my mind tells me, the way my investigation tells me, is that was most likely Katie as subject number 2. And she was the one running back to the house because, let's face it, only one person woke up into the house. So who could that one lone person being running back toward the house be? Rocket science. Rocket science. Called common sense, problem-solving techniques and skills. I would hope that Sumner County learns it, gets better educated on it, and quits coming out with their stupidity. Because, to be honest with you, the public is much smarter than they give them credit for, and we do not like being lied to. We do not like being deceived, and we do not like seeing somebody struggling like Seth Rogers when they should be helping him, and they're not. They're going to arrest a YouTuber that hung a camera out of her car, posted missing person flyers, and spoke with hashtags. But they can't get monsters that beat their fucking kid in jail. All right, Sumner County. Now you know why we're sick and tired of dealing with your sorry asses and why we're taking our fight to the governor's mansion. So, what we need from the public, that is the end of our show. Sorry for being expressive, but sometimes I need to get you guys in gear. And I know that I have power of persuasion. I know that I empower people. I do what I do because I'm effective. Sometimes I have to use words. Sometimes I don't. Could I have done that without those words? Of course I could have. Would it have been impactful? Would it make you go, no. I make people listen. Okay? That's my gift. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Robin. I make people listen. Oh, which reminds me, before we go any further, I see we got a lot. I just want to thank all the sponsors of this show today. We got Kiki, and we got her email. Mike with the super chat. SRK, it's nice to see you. Melanie and Robin gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership each. So if you received their Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell them thank you and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. The Insanity Asylum. Since you guys got it the first time, I'm not going to do it all the way. Katie, where is Chris? Thank you for the super chat. Phil and Robin wanted some more. She said, no, I want to do it more. Yeah, I gave her one, but not two. So let me get, Robin gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. So if you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Miss Robin, thank you. And for the one beautiful person that received that beautiful membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. Who's your mama? Just joking. It's not Big Bubba. It's Big Betty. Be careful. Oh, Panda Bear's mom missing without a trace. Devlin Tate. Devlin Tate always reminding us to pay it to Devlin Tate. Let me pull this up so you guys can get a little snippet of what happened. This just came out May 2022, fairly recent. Let me put them up on the screen. Put him up on the screen. There he is. This is Devlin Tate. And just to remind everybody here, he's 18 years old, disappeared April 21st, 2025 from Lake Odessa, Michigan, and he is still missing. His 18-year-old was last seen at Lake Odessa in Michigan on April 21st, 2025. He disappeared after leaving home for his daily walk in the morning. Very unusual to say the least, because it was his daily walk with somebody. You know, I have a lot of questions with that. When people have standard routines, we have a lot of questions with those standard routines, because when you're here this day and you're here this day and you have this huge standard routine, then people will know where you are at. And if you are met with foul play, it's just tough. So there he is. It sounds like he went on his regular walk and something happened. Devlin Tate was last seen at Carl's Supermarket, downtown Lake Odessa, Michigan. He bought some groceries and hasn't been heard of from since. I want to see where he passed, because there's just something. If he was seen at the grocery, then it seems to me, and they have no evidence of him making it back home. This seems to me like somebody that may have been bullied on his way home, or somebody, you know, people do terrible things when they know somebody is different than they are. I don't know why they do it. I don't know what makes them do it. I was never like that as a kid. I don't know why. I was never like, I hated it even as a kid, you know, and I was fairly popular in school, and I was never with the nasty. I would always be nasty to the nasty people. Trust me, my attitude hasn't changed much. I told people to I didn't know what get bent or F off was back when I was younger, but I told people to do it. I just didn't use that language back then. I used little language like, shut up, get away from me, I don't need to listen to you, whatever, loser. So thank you, Panda Bear's mom, for your avocation. And of course, Robin got my 6 with the cuss jar because I did drop a few. Oh, we got a birthday. Jen in Georgia. Shattered. I am so sorry you're shattered, but hopefully we'll pick it up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy Bullhorn Betty birthday to Jen. Happy am I too high? Birthday to you. I should have been a few octaves deeper, but we got off base here. But happy birthday. Happy Bullhorn Betty birthday. We had fun over here. I really could care less. Right? It's all about trying to make people smile and all the gunky. But when we need to get busy, when we need to like get busy, like really get working and get stuff out, we have the ability to do that as well. So I'm very appreciative of the gifts that we are given here on the Bullhorn Betty channel to really make a difference and impact the communities that we are in. And sometimes, like politicians, they don't like our kind of help. We don't care. We're here to liberate their community. And I'm so sick and tired of governments taking over communities. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. And I always act in with love. Okay? The stuff I'm seeing, when I see something and I know I can make a change or a difference or put it on a platform, I will definitely do that. And I hope every other county and community around this country sees the disrespectful way that Sumner County has treated people as they're trying to help. Whether they like the help or not, they don't get to control it because they don't get to control the people. Why? Because we don't live in communist China. And it's pretty sad that we got a bunch of people that call themselves conservative Republicans out there in Sumner County running that place into the ground, by the way. And then you want to act like communist China. Take a hike with that bullcrap. That's telling people what they want to hear and policing and policying completely opposite than what you're saying. We are tired of that as the American people, period. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle. We're all tired of it. Let's be honest. I'm sick of it. We're going to do something about it. The governor's mansion, Jen in Georgia. I must not have killed her ears because she gets the 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Jen in Georgia thank you. And for the 5 beautiful people, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Indian Saint Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. Who your mama? Big Betty coming for you. Big Betty coming for you. All right, guys. So now that we're done with this, it is time to start getting down to brass tacks. So the reason why we had such a long, drawn-out live is one, so if there are new people out there that are just coming across Sebastian's case for the first time, they get to know the case more intimately. This is a crazy case and a very complex case. We all know that because we've all been living it for over the last year. But at the end of the day, we do have our grievances. Our grievances run deep with Sumner County. I think they are the most disrespectful county I have ever seen, the most unprofessional pieces of you-know-what I have ever seen. And you know what? For you good-hearted police that are and sheriffs that are out there in Sumner County, you need to be stepping up to the plate. You need to have that backbone, and that backbone needs to be erect and strong. Because what I'm seeing from others is enough to make me sick. It's enough to make me sick. But one thing I do and I do well is when I see things like this happen, and trust me, Sumner County is a dime a dozen in my world. Because you got to remember, this is on the true crime side. I've been dealing with stuff like this on the political side for many years before I ever came to true crime. And when I have an issue like this, for example, I have worked my ass off with a bunch of people in this county to replace our board multiple times over the last 6 years. And we're in the process of having to do it over because why? As soon as we get somebody in that powerful, coveted chairman's position, now all of a sudden they stop listening to the people that got them there. And so now we have to start working, but they wreak havoc on our county until we can vote to get them out of there. And we are getting so sick and tired of this. And now here we go again. Okay. But what I will tell you is that one thing I do is when I get like that, I back off. I'll stop going to meetings. I'll start working behind the scenes and I'll start getting the job done to get people removed out of their seat. And I'll do it very quickly. Okay. And that's what we do. And that's what needs to happen in here. But the problem here is that we have a situation where we need to go around Sumner County. We no longer are even going to deal with them. I don't like Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. I've already written their entire leadership off. They need to be replaced. So now I have to start creating, awareness in their community. I got to start creating groups in their community, and I have to start taking them out one by one politically. And I have been doing this all over the country for a very, very long time. I'm very effective in this. And that is on a side note. But what we need now is we need a lot of people. We need a lot of people right now to step up to the plate because we need to get about 200 people in front of a governor's mansion. We need to have people. We need people to start thinking outside the box. I need people to send me their interests if they wish to participate in this. You do not need to be physically present. If you are unable to attend, your attendance is not required to be part of the committee. Okay? The committee, what we are going to be doing is outlining what needs to be done. We're going to be meeting once a week as a committee. We need to identify a date and get that secured. We need to fill out any and all paperwork that we need to do to get that date and time and everything. We need to make sure we have sound systems. We have to make sure we have pop-up tents and we have to make sure we have a lectern out there. This is stuff that's most likely going to have to be rented, and we are going to have to rent it. We need speakers. We need agenda. We need to figure out what our agenda is going to be in our timeline. Typically, when I'm out there for people that are sharing their stories, for example, if, say, we had Layla Santanella's mom, I always have to, whenever I'm doing these, I have to give the people that come with these heartfelt stories about their a little more leeway. But I keep all of my vendors, not necessarily vendors, but like the people that are coming from the resources, like nonprofits and stuff, they have XYZ time to speak, and I'm very strict on that time. Along with the politicians, they have an XYZ slot to speak, and that's what they need to get. They need to get in and get out. But we need people that have some suggestions on how to move this stuff forward. We need people that are pro, increasing penalties, that are pro child advocacy laws, that really want to start making and impacting Tennessee. We need to kickstart this. Once we make a demonstration in front of the governors, other counties and communities around their state will see it, and will start just by pure seeing it, start resonating with people in other counties where they're going to their board of county commissioners, they're going to their people asking for this stuff to be put into play, or asking them to start advocating for such, this stuff and that stuff. And then those things start working. But without the demonstration and getting people engaged with what's going on, we're not going to have that other support, the decision makers, the true decision makers of Tennessee coming forward to get their politicians in place. What do you mean? Well, there are our politicians, and there are the true stakeholders of our state. If you don't know that, there are. The rich of your state are the decision makers of your state, no matter who you vote for. Okay? The mega rich of your state are the decision makers of your state. So you need to make sure you get in front of them too. And that's why this is so effective. I'm very effective in politics. I'm very effective in our, and I'm not giving myself a pat on the back. It's, you guys have watched me for years. You've watched me for years. This stuff works. So we are going to apply it, and we're going to get some things done in the state of Tennessee. I'm tired of sitting back and just complaining about the state of Tennessee. We have more cases that we cover here on the Bullhorn Betty channel in the state of Tennessee than any other state in the United States. That is a problem. You know where we need to be? In the state of Tennessee. That's who needs the most that needs the most help right now. Once we get the help that needs to be had in Tennessee, then we start focusing on other problem children. It's not just about criticizing. It's about exposing an issue that people don't want to know about and fixing it. These politicians don't want to let their constituents know about these issues, and their constituents typically don't want to know about these issues because they want to be able to know that they're living in safe, peaceful environments, and what they don't know, don't kill them until it does. We're here to fix the problem, or at least attempt to fix. Do I believe that this will ever fix the problem? Absolutely not. Until evil itself is eradicated, we will never be without work. And that's sad. But what do we need? We need people that have the ability to get some sponsors. We need some, because what I'd like to do is, instead of having, and I don't want people saying, oh my God, she's looking for money. No, I'm not. I'm looking for tents. I'm looking for a lectern. I'm looking for a sound system. I'm looking for signs. Okay, those are all the things that we need sponsored. Okay, and there are companies and nonprofits that would be willing to get behind this project for those signs and put their names on those signs for advertisement purposes and pay for it. Operation Angel Wings. So we need to find sponsors. We also need to find advocates. So in Tennessee, and I only want people that are in Tennessee that have resources for Tennesseans. And we need nonprofits for family services, for medical services. We need nonprofits that have the ability to help, pay for or help keep people in place, instead of, like, if they're on the verge of evictions, it's always easier to keep somebody in their place than it is to try to find them a new place. So, services like that, family services, right? Because a lot of people are in toxic relationships because they feel like they have no place to go and there's nothing there to help them. And I want every person that wants to change their life and move away from toxicity and abuse has the opportunity. And that's what we need to instill in Tennessee. And we need to remove the stigma of the men are the bosses in Tennessee, because there's a new Betty in town. Okay? And I don't like it very much when I have men talking down to me when I know more about the subject matter than them. Got a problem with that. Got a problem with that. All right, guys, you rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. This is going to be our call to action right here. I need people that want to be involved in this committee to step forward, okay? Email me. We are going to set up a new email chain. If you guys listen, I know that everybody likes their confidentiality and stuff like that. I don't care about your confidentiality. I care if you can get the job done. If you're assigned something, get it done. Don't volunteer if you don't have the time to commit to this. This is an unpaid, completely voluntary job where you're going to have deadlines. So at times it might feel like work, and I want to make sure I'm not painting and I want to make sure you understand what you're getting into. We're talking about a lot of hard work here. This is a lot, okay? This is a lot of calling. This is a lot of planning. This is a massive, huge undertaking, and I cannot convey that enough. And I can't do it by myself because it's a massive undertaking. So I need this committee. If you want to help, you want to participate, if we have other content creators that would like to help and participate, we need bodies and we need our meeting. I will, once I start getting some emails in, I'm hoping to have emails. I'd like to get some emails of you guys wanting to be on the committee by tomorrow morning before we get here at 10. And, I would like to start setting up our first stages for our first, meet and greet meeting of the committee for Operation Angel Wings. And then we'll start moving in to finding out who do we think is best. And we're going to start, we are going to, the politicians and the people that we are going to be approaching to speak, we're going to be interviewing without interviewing them. We're going to be going through who they are, everything about them, just to make sure that they bode with the vision that we're having for the event. And then it's conveying that event, that image. I don't necessarily need it to be in my image. I'm not picky like that. I just want a great, successful event that has dual purposes. Not only is it a family fun event for everybody, but it has a purpose. And we also have resources out there. Research, Veronica says. So if you guys don't want me to have your new or your personal email address, please set up an email address just for this, okay? That you guys, because a lot of our stuff is going to be behind the scenes, emailing back and forth. I'm going to make a group chat behind the scenes. So if you don't want people knowing your real email address, just go and set up a secondary email just for this cause. And then that solves all the problems, because I'd rather have you participate anonymously than not have the hands in this at all, because this is a lot of work. And you guys have to understand how much work goes into this. And if we can get to the point where we have sponsorship so well, maybe we can offer things like drinks there, having coolers for people that come can have, stuff. I'm going to have a big bucket of water for all of our people. Okay. I'm going to have my big fishing cooler out there. Because it's going to be hot, and I want to make sure that our people are taken care of. Anybody that sits there and comes there to work and is volunteering, you guys will be taken care of. You guys shouldn't need really anything except snacks. We should have water, some shade, and we'll have some areas that you can go back to, just to take a break, away from people, so you're not being bothered. But we'll figure it all out. But this is the stuff that we need to start doing. So if you guys have been in things like this or help plan, those are the things that I need, because then I don't have to really train you that much. But if this is your first time doing it, just come aboard. Again, we will put you to use. There's not, I can't imagine me turning down any help on a project like this. So that's where we're at, guys. I hope you participate. bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We will start rolling stuff out. I know that my mods are here and they will always help, especially with research where they can. So for you guys, for you mods and everything like that, I'll keep you guys in the loop of when we're doing our sessioning and stuff like that, but you don't need to send me an email, because I know whichever ones can be here will be here on the mod squad. What is the date? We have not selected a date, and we haven't selected the date for good reason, because we need to identify how long it's going to take us to pull everything together before we select the date. Because not only do we have to select the date, but we have to get that date advertised out for at least 30 solid days. I would like 60 solid days for the event. It's just a much better, it just works out better. But if I only have 30 days, we'll do the 30 days, but we want whatever date's going to be the most impactful. So I'm up in the air for the times, but I just want to make sure that it's when the governor is in his mansion, because we need him to see it. Now, I know that they got security and stuff like that. They may need to put him to a different room or, whatever. The point is, we want him there. We want him to see it. We want him to hear. These are his constituents that we're bringing to his front door so he can hear their voices. And some of these voices are grief-stricken and heartbroken. Come here. I don't know why you're so whimpery. All right, guys, I think it's because I've been on online for almost 4 hours, but we knew it was going to be 4 to 5 hours. I think she needs to go to the bathroom, guys. So listen, that's really all we had. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is a really long live, and I apologize about that, but it is what it is. This was the only time I could squeeze this all in, is to just take this extra time to do it. Edgar put a no Betty bumper sticker on his diesel truck. Don't worry. I got my crystal clear green shirt, and I still have the video of me cussing out his stepdaddy. So, And have a great day, y'all. Have a great day. We'll see you soon, guys. Oh, dear goodness. I don't even know where I'm at. My brain is spinning on me. Okay.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channel.